Interviewing process for the vacant defensive coordinator job. Outside candidates include Mike Zimmer, who knows his way around Dallas. Ron Rivera will reportedly interview for the vacancy very soon. In other NFL news, they're headed to Brazil in the upcoming season. Philadelphia will be playing a football game in Sao Paulo. First game in South America.
Wembanyama three, good! Goes behind the back here. Oh! Little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama. Oh, it's knocked away by Wembanyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. With Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Hey, huddle up on us. This is the Morning Huddle. He is RJ Ochoa, the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, a rock star unto himself. I am Rob Thompson, the professor. I got to get this right. Professor in chief, the pick with a P.
P-I-C.
With you this morning, live from our beautiful confines of Radio Row up here in is it down here, up here? Would we say from San Antonio? We up here? Or are we down there?
How is that a question?
Are we up here? Or are we down there? If we're in Vegas,
we're up here.
We're up here in Vegas.
Most things are up here.
Yeah, most of the time, unless we're headed to the valley. We're going down the valley.
Yeah, but I mean, how would it be down here?
Oh, I don't know.
Are we lower in elevation?
Far lower, yes. So
you could. That
never know.
work, yeah.
I'm just, a big game coverage, of course, all week long. Going to be brought to you by our good friends over at AA Best Bail Bonds, powered by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and, of course, Synergenics. I had some of the Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, the hot honey. Have you had one of those?
I haven't yet, but they're all over the house.
That is a sinfully
there was like
treat.
4 bags in your bed.
Dude, those are respect. Those were good. Anyway, hadn't had those yet. Full day of fun for you. We're going to regale you with our evening at opening night in the hockey puck, the Roomba of death.
It felt like death for a little while.
They have done their very best job to whip the sports media into shape here in Las Vegas. This has been a trek. Yesterday, luckily all of us are wearing some sort of digital paraphernalia on our wrists, whether they be Fitbits or watches of a variety of brands that track our footsteps in the household. We're upwards of like 18 to 20,000 steps yesterday. All of us.
Look, life is so hard here because
it is. But
the worst day here is better than the best day in most places.
Of course, we're not. We'll save the real stuff for the area of grievances.
We are inordinately blessed and fortunate, but I can't remember the last time I walked so much at one of these things as I did yesterday. And the security situation here is. Are you familiar with the catalog of Friends?
Yes, very much so.
Do you remember the episode where Joey is auditioning coach, the host of Bamboozled, the game show,
yeah.
and Ross and Chandler are playing along with him, and there comes a point where Joey goes to audition and he's like, and they're like, oh, we canceled the show. He's like, why? And the guy says, well, our focus group found that viewers found it to be too difficult of a game to follow. And Joey's all, what's difficult? You go over to the Golden Bridge, under the mud hut, through the Golden Brick Road, up the forest, down the ladder, through the fire hydrant, over the moon, down the clouds, through the Amazon rainforest. You touch the magic key. You pass go, collect $200. You come home. You cook 3 eggs. You put a steak on the grill. You tie your shoes. You untie one. Left shoe, big fudge, shout out forever. And then you win. Bamboozled. That's exactly what it's like going through security around here. Even if you just go get a hot dog. I mean, you cannot do anything without having to go through the entire process.
I really do feel bad for the older media. It is really kind of above and beyond. Just to get around the media row for us to get it is there's no sure easy way to get there as the crow flies. But if you wanted to, you could cut 99% of the walk out of the process
with just one decision.
Yes, just open, and the doors are there, but they're just heavily guarded, and they're not allowed to let people cross. So that, in combination with last night, which we'll talk about, media night has become, it's just so corporate, RJ. But it has become an event unto itself, very different from what it used to be, but it still had its interesting perks.
We'll get there.
Night. We'll talk all about that. Tough news this morning as we awoke. Toby Keith passing. Wow.
What's your all-time favorite Toby Keith song?
Of course, could have been a Cowboy.
Should have been a Cowboy.
What did I say? Could have, should have. Yeah, should have been a Cowboy.
That's mine, and it was on, my dad gave me a VHS tape that was about the 1992 Dallas Cowboys and their season. And at the end of it, his song it was kind of a music video with that song set to highlights of the season. That's when I fell in love with it.
He was a part of that Garth train, but back in the 90s, when I was in college, Toby Keith was a big deal.
Red Solo Cup.
Let me tell you, man, that's one of those passings that's kind of a signpost in people's lives because he was big time back in the day. There's a lot of people that have fond memories of doing something or having fun to a Toby Keith song. And
American Soldier's a great one.
So, yeah, we'll do our best and to pay homage. Edwin, pull up your Toby Keith catalog. Let's have us some fun today. We'll look at the silver and black. I assume they had a hard practice yesterday. I saw Tom Osborne tweeted out that they put a little sweat on over the weekend, so they're getting back on. They're getting on a plane headed to Miami. Play tomorrow night.
On the subject of that, as we were leaving yesterday, we were taking a taxi cab, not an Uber.
Yeah, we've been taxi cabbing. It's the first I've been in cab since New York.
Taxi cab, and we were walking out, here in the Mandalay Bay, and we passed a sign that said, "You are in the city of silver and black." Now I recognize that we've been on the air for 5 minutes here, and I've already come out and been kind of ornery, but back the heck off.
Yeah.
I mean, back off. Like, know your place. These dudes have been here for 5 minutes. All right. And if the Raiders want to refer to themselves as the silver and black, by all means, but you cannot be the city of silver and black.
Yes.
I'm fine with the team utilizing the name. We can share it. We can be simpatico in that sense. But the city itself, no. 210, Alamo City, Countdown City, it belongs to us. Back off.
It should say, like you have to have the little trademark.
Oh, like the way the Seahawks have to shout out A&M with the 12th man stuff.
The 12s. Courtesy of Texas A&M 12th man. They should have a little logo there at the bottom, courtesy of San Antonio 210.
Rudy Gonzalez chimes in on the we have to come up with a name for this as well. I don't mean to come in and
that's our job. Yes, we need to.
We need a name for the chat because Rudy comes in and says Team Breakfast Brigade. The brigade.
Oh, the double B's. I appreciate it.
Right, the Breakfast Brigade, the Morning Brigade. I like having different names and terms for the brigade specifically, but we need a name for the brigade chat, like the brigade. I'm not gonna lie, Rob. I've done all the heavy lifting on the names around here.
Yeah, you're good at this.
So I also named the Blitz yesterday. My back's hurting a little bit. So if you can name the chat for the brigade.
I will do my best as we carry on. I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. I'm exhausted. My feet hurt.
Do they really? You said you have a blister.
Yeah, I rubbed a little blister on the shoe that I wear all the time. I think it was different socks. I don't know. Yeah, a long one. We did get to see the defending champs. We got to see.
What was interesting about
some of the 49ers from way up high.
Oh, dude. The 49ers fans are definitely here in fuller force. I think that's my takeaway so far through a day and a half of presence in the city of not silver and black. And I think some of that is, frankly, Chiefs fatigue. If you're a Chiefs fan, you're like, I went to Miami. I went last year. To Phoenix. I'll just save up next year. I'd rather go to New Orleans anyway. You know what I mean?
There's probably some cheaper, more equipment.
That's what I'm saying. Whereas Niners fans are like, let's go. It's right there, 5 minutes away.
The rest of the NFL jobs are filling fast. We'll look at Bowen, new DC there, the Giants. So that's one less guy the Cowboys could get. That's off the list that they were interviewing outside of the building. I
have found out, in talking to, brothers and sisters around the radio and television community that we've gotten a chance to see so far through our time here, and lots of Cowboys people I know from across the country and the world that are here. I'm on an island in not wanting Mike Zimmer. I have found that
I kind of are.
Yeah,
because I think a lot of people finally remember him as a guy that was well appreciated in this while he spent some years.
To me,
so it's old time. You're right. It has been a minute, but. See, I've spent so much time with where you have pointed out the obvious, the things that I've overlooked. So I'm you brought me back to kind of in the middle here. But when it does happen, and I get the sense it's gonna, I'm not going to be furious. I'm just going to accept the fact that this is just another sign of what I know is coming.
You know what it feels like to me? If I had to kind of come up with a way to express my emotion, it would feel like, and I feel like there have been reports about this at different times and, things, whatever. If we were to find out today, like the Hollywood Reporter or Vanity Fair were to come out and be like, they're remaking or they're adding a part 4 to Back to the Future, I would be so upset. I would just feel like, why? It was great. it was in the past. You have to leave it there. Stop remaking things. Stop adding, like Indiana Jones. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop. Just come up with new material. Come up with new organic thoughts.
There's only been 7 stories ever told.
There was a long time ago. I saw, and apologies to anyone who likes this movie. I mean, I must have been in high school or college, and there was a movie coming out about a zebra who was a racehorse, but he was a zebra.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
And not a horse. And the movie was called Racing Stripes. And I remember, even at that young age, I remember thinking like,
that's not a good name.
Well, I remember thinking, we've run out of things. That's it. This is the last one. Like we've completely emptied the bucket. We have no more stories to tell. So
that's called the Marvel Universe.
Yeah,
that's a whole other story.
I like this question from Ultra Cowboy on the Brigade Bar. How do you like that?
The Brigade Bar would be our chat.
Yeah.
I like that.
Right?
That's far more.
And because they show up on the bottom. Yeah, the Brigade Bar.
There we go. We have our Brigade Bar.
Ultra Cowboy says on the Brigade Bar, why didn't the Cowboys release a thank you statement for Dan Quinn? They wanted him gone. That's a great point. Although I would offer Ultra Cowboy 3 years of service. Although Zeke got a whole thank you video.
Oh, he'll get at some point. He'll get it.
Brian says on the Brigade Bar, Racing Stripe is still a funny movie. Yes. I've never seen it, but that's when the well ran dry.
Funny is a stretch.
I mean,
entertaining would probably be a better word.
To Brian, not me.
Because anytime you can see a fast-running zebra, it's worth your time.
Yeah.
Speaking of fast-running zebras, we got some talk for you. Last night was I don't know.
I have to get out of here. How can I do that?
The coffee is kicked in. Coming back, we'll regale you with our experience around opening night. It was done Las Vegas style inside the Roomba, which is so trite. I got to stop saying that. Everybody says that.
Do you have a Roomba?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
I delight in what the Roomba does to my dogs. It's one of the few exciting moments in my life.
Our dogs would, or Honey would destroy that thing.
The dogs are pretty. They want to destroy it. It just doesn't look like they can.
Does it clean carpet?
We have the kind that does both.
Let's get out of here. We can talk about this.
Yeah, we do that. Let's talk about the NFL experience. Our big game coverage continues right here on Media Row, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds, powered by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds and our good friends over at Synergenics. NFL talk coming up next year on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Sports Star boys are in Vegas for the big game.
Road trip! Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Robin, RJ, and Jason and Joe are in Sin City and Radio Row for the big game, with security provided by AA Best Bail Bonds.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll all get drunk and
Woo! I think you gonna get away with it. Not up in here.
Not up in here.
Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Synergenics, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
If you can't sleep because of annoying knee pain, that's a problem. If you stop running because your feet always hurt, that's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem. And it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no injections. Arasti treatment is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, we accept most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
It's the Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rind Appreciation Day celebration. Enter to win $5,000 cash, tailgating prizes, plus Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds when you pass the pigskin. Enter at porkrindappreciationday.com. That's porkrindappreciationday.com. And make sure to pick up the protein-packed, bold flavors of Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds today at HEB.
Progressive presents Precious Moments.
Nothing beats driving cross-country in our RV.
This is so much fun, Dad. I don't even need to look at my phone.
It's not the destination. It's the journey. Jinx!
The exchange you just heard didn't actually happen, but it could. Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive and you could use the savings to make sure that RV is always ready to hit the road. Who knows? Your teenager might actually put down her phone for 5 minutes. It could happen. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure that you'll get your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
And Jackson Hewitt also guarantees the accuracy of your return for life. So don't just sit there. For your biggest refund guaranteed, walk into a Jackson Hewitt today and dance out Jackson Hewitt! Yeah!
Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate, or hiring someone to move your piano instead of doing it yourself. So do things the better way. Bundle home and auto and save up to 25% with Allstate.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
The LaTappe, Texas cycling races are back in San Antonio, April 12th to the 14th. Cyclists of all ages, register now to ride in the 100, 60, or 25-mile Tour de France amateur cycling events. You can run, walk, cycle, and celebrate all things Fitness Fiesta at the Athletes Village and Expo, LaTappe, Texas. Register today at fiestafitfest.com. Presented in part by Thomas J. Henry.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
So sticky.
At Hannah's Organic Honey, business may be sweet, but they need an e-commerce queen bee to lead the hive.
Okay, these jars are going to Jakarta. Oh, wait a minute. Does that say Jackson?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Schedule virtual interviews and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Super Bowl 58 in Vegas is set. It's the Chiefs and Niners. Hear it right here on your exclusive home for the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
On us, it's the Morning Huddle with RJ Ochoa and Rob Thompson. We're glad you're with us. We are coming to you live from Media Row. We're kind of in the suburbs of Media Row. We're kind of in the far right quadrant. If you haven't gotten a good picture of us, and we'll show you a camera view of it here in a minute for all of you online. Make sure you're watching us live, following us on the socials. The big-time stations, the big-time shows, the nationals, they go around the edge, the outside, gives them a little bit of room. And then there is a walk path that will, starting on Thursday, those that buy tickets can come in and walk around the media row, but not come over this.
It's like
wall.
a convention. It's
Right.
kind of the way it's set up.
And then have like a walkway, so you can, on the inside is us, on the outside is the TV types, the SB Nations, the DraftKings, all those, all the way on the outside, and then we're on the inside. But we're in the old days when you were looking for guests, they would have some bookers, but they would just kind of walk around and give you people, and you wanted to be in a prime location. You wanted to be next to like a national show because everybody's trying to get on that. You might get their crumbs. Now, it doesn't matter as much as it did then because they have bookers and we plan things ahead.
Right.
Like Brian Billick will be with us for our first live interview of Radio Week. We'll talk to former Baltimore Ravens head coach. And he's got some Vikings ties, doesn't he?
He does.
So we'll maybe reflect on Zimmer and if they have.
Well, he's also just a really astute.
Oh gosh,
mind,
yeah, we have.
so.
He's a great guy, and so he'll be here today. But used to guys like that, you'd hope to be next to a bigger outlet, and you just grab them on their way out. Well, now we're all. It's funny how they laid this out. All the morning shows from Texas, literally all of us are within 20 feet of each other, 30 feet of each other, in a 50,000 square foot room. We're all within 30 feet of each other.
I think the best way to put that is you could toss a ball with like towards each table. Like you wouldn't have to throw it hard.
No,
you could reach. So we've got the ticket, we've got 610 Houston, and we got 105.3 The Fan, all within toss ball range. You could toss like a Nerf ball, like without really hurting yourself, breaking a sweat, whatever. But you're right. There's like nobody else in this room that's on, although except for all the lights are on and the coffee's on.
Which, by the way, our cries were heard, and they told us on the way in after our 8-mile hike, if you finish your hike alive, there will be coffee and water waiting for you. So they did take care of us, and we're much better off this 6 o'clock hour than we were yesterday because we were out kind of late last night, headed over to the opening night ceremonies over at the stadium. Who's the what's the name of the official?
Allegiant Stadium.
Allegiant. I kept wanting to say Reliant. Allegiant Stadium, the home of the Super Bowl.
This is the first media night I've ever been to that was in the
stadium
at the game, the stadium that the Super Bowl is being played in. In Houston, it was at Minute Maid.
Mm-hmm.
In Miami, it was at the Marlins ballpark. In Minnesota and Atlanta,
it was at the hockey stadiums,
or hockey/NBA.
Was that the? Oh yeah,
Like
they play in different stadiums because it was set up for hockey, I guess.
Yeah, it was the arenas that the Wild and the Timberwolves played, and the Hawks.
The Hawks played it. They had a beautiful stadium, if I recall. Yeah. This one was on the field, but not on the turf where they're going to play on.
No, it was because it's not turf. It was on the turf that the Raiders play on, but not the actual field that they will play on Sunday.
Speaking of that field is getting plenty of water.
It was outside, and there was a tarp though over the field, not the end zones. But
so we had that. I mean, we
walked past all of that to get there.
So what they did is they took us via the bus, as is typical, and they just kind of dropped us off on the side of the road. Anybody who's been to Vegas kind of gets an idea of where Allegiant Field is. There's not a lot of, you can't get to there from here very easy.
It's like across the highway, and as Rob's saying, so we get on a shuttle and they take us there, and not in any kind of pretentious way, but normally these things
they get you right to the door.
They drop you off right there,
and
you just like get off and go right through security. They got the canines and whatever. You take your bags off, this and that. But how word started to spread like down the bus or the shuttle as they were dropping us off. Like every media member there from different areas, because they're we're all on the same bus. Everybody's like, they're not dropping us off here, right? Like, there's just no way.
In the parking lot of an In-N-Out Burger?
Yeah, and right across the Holiday Inn Express. Yeah. So I would say we had to walk at least, all told, a mile.
At least a mile
to get from,
where we were
from
going.
Bus to the field. We had to go down the steepest flight of stairs I've ever seen, where there were puddles that we were advised to steer away from. But we did finally get down there, and it was as corporate as a media night has ever been.
It's just gotten so sterile. It's interesting to see all the pregame that they have, and I guess it's really not made for the viewer there. It's more for the TV types, obviously, because you can't hear anybody there.
So, but that's I think this is important context. That's why we're here, to kind of explain this. So at media night, they have about 12 players for each team. Gets a session. Each team gets an hour. And they have about 12 booths for the Patrick Mahomeses, the Travis Kelce.
Check our socials. You'll see what it looks like.
For the kind of stars of the team. And they're in the booths. And the other players are walking around. And you can grab them. You can whatever, this and that. I'll get to that in a moment. But normally, each booth, it has some sort of speaker set up because they all have microphones in front of them. You couldn't hear anything.
Nothing.
It was kind of, dare I say, poorly designed. But beyond that, one of the coolest parts about playing in the Super Bowl is the swag.
The swag.
Like, everything you
the
get.
gear they get.
Yeah, you get like space suits of swag. These were, they might have been Costco Kirkland. I mean, like it was charcoal sweater tops and pants with the most difficult
with a washed out logo.
Yeah, the most difficult to discern Super Bowl and team logo that wasn't even the team colors. They were just like, they were all white and silverish. I mean, it looked like, the lowest cost effort to make those for the Super Bowl players.
You'll find them on eBay next week. There'll be players selling them. There's no need to keep these. They didn't turn out very well. So we get the early march in. They do all of that. And this is after about a 1.5 mile hike. You have to stand there and wait. And because they had it on the stadium, they also had some of the the football benches for
bleachers.
Benches like for the team.
They don't
still
call
down
benches
there
anymore. That's an archaic term.
No, I'm talking about the bench for the team.
The bleachers.
On the sidelines.
The bleachers, yes.
Well, the team doesn't sit in the bleachers. I'm talking about the long bench. The bench.
I understand what you're talking about, but I'm using the word bleachers.
Okay. Well, bleacher. It's not plural. It's and.
That's fair.
Okay. So they were on the bleacher. And I noticed as I was walking around that only people sitting on the bleacher were guys that looked like me. There's just a bunch of old tired dudes sitting on the edge watching who got more attention, Kelsey or Mahomes last night?
Well,
we
had kind of predicted this. You had asked me, and we were walking around on Sunday, and I said, I think Travis is going to have a bigger, because the thing about this is the most media night is the most credentialed sporting event of the year. Maybe the Final Four comes kind of close, but yeah. I mean, you have media members of all walks of media. You have sports, you have entertainment, you have international media. I mean, you have people from all over the world, and you've all seen before people in costumes and things like that. So Travis Kelce had the throngs of the football media and the entertainment media for obvious reasons, and he said that he heard a few songs from Taylor Swift's upcoming album.
Did he really?
He said that, yeah.
All I heard was so that was Taylor Smith.
That wasn't her, but yeah.
So he's heard some of the new stuff.
He also had a line that is just, and I don't say this in a negative way about Trav, but I can call him Trav.
Yeah. Well, we're in the same city.
One of the more privileged things I think he's ever said as an NFL player, or specifically relative to the context of his situation, he said, "I've never wanted a Super Bowl as bad as I want this one." What a luxury, Travis, to be able
all the others.
Yeah.
The one in front of me seems to be the one I want now. San Francisco was there to follow. In between, they had like a little stand-up session. Well, the last time you're going to see Purdy and Mahomes on the stage together.
Yeah, they have like a meeting of the team captains, and they had the quarterbacks talk and the tight ends talk and the wide receivers talk and et cetera, et cetera. And Scott Hansen kind of emceed everything. He didn't drop a 7 hours, and it felt awkward. But yeah, I think the Niners fans were out in much fuller force than the Chiefs fans.
I get the sense that it's still early yet. The flight's coming out of Kansas City, and we're kind of in this bubble. I have no idea what's going on in the outside world, but I assume cold places.
So for anyone who's somehow unaware, it is 4:23 a.m. Pacific time. Hello, love you all.
Yes, morning.
And that sucks. But because of that, and because it's been cold and dreary and wet and rainy, I haven't seen the sun.
No, I haven't seen the sun in 36 hours. I don't know what it looks like. Really? I mean, we did see a little bit on the way home for our afternoon nap, our midday constitutional. But other than that, man, we're living the Vegas life, and we'll continue to take you with us as our big game coverage is brought to you by our good friends over at AA Best Bail Bonds, powered by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and the Synergenics coming up. While we sit on Radio Row, there's steady work afoot going on in the Star. Still no answer on the Cowboys defensive coordinator. We'll look at that and expectations. Silver and Black just around the bend. Are they ready to hit the road? What does that mean to your Spurs for a month of travel and practice? Do we expect new things? Hang around. So much to do in so little time. Your Radio Row coverage continues next right here on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, we continue here at Radio Row in Las Vegas, getting ready for the big game between San Francisco and Kansas City. Sean Merriman, former NFL player, is going to join us.
Plus Laura Oakham, and we'll have our thoughts and sounds from NFL opening night from last night inside Allegiant Stadium. The Blitz in Vegas starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Score big with LS Tractors at Dietz Tractor in Seguin, the MVPs of the field. LS Tractors, the star quarterbacks of farming, perfect for tough tasks for farm, ranch, and landscaping. Dietz Tractors has your all-star coaching staff for top-notch equipment. They're not just selling tractors, they're building lasting relationships with unmatched dealer support for parts and maintenance. It's a winning strategy that goes beyond the final whistle. Don't miss the game-winning move. 0% financing available with approved credit on LS Tractors. Start blue, stay blue at Dietz Tractor in Seguin.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com. If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Nothing but net. Good shots. Man, I miss playing basketball. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone? What do you mean? All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text BACK to 231-231 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text BACK to 231-231. That's BACK to 231-231.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
It's Rob and RJ, live from Radio Row for Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas.
Hey, huddle up on us. This is the Morning Huddle. RJ Ochoa, the managing editor of Blogging the Boys. I'm Rob Thompson, the professor-in-chief. This is the Huddle. The Blitz with Left Shoe and Big Fudge today at 2 o'clock. Should it be chock full of goodness? On our quest to fill our bingo card, I had an opportunity last night to get the entertainer. I didn't because I was too stunned by his greatness. I stood directly by Carrot Top. That was a frightening experience.
Why?
He's a different looking dude, man. He looks homeless.
So
his hair's all matted up, like matted. Like
he's on a lot of billboards around here.
Yeah,
he's big deal right now.
He was he just kind of standing in the crowd waiting for Kelsey. I just didn't want to interview him because he kind of freaked me out. But I saw him. I passed on the opportunity. So I'm down one, but I still have 4 more days to find an entertainer, a pro athlete of any sport other than football, a Hall of Famer of any sport, and we'll include the NFL, and the JoJo Sliwa influencer that will fill our bingo card. How are you on yours?
I mean, I've been with you the entire time, so I think you know the answer to that.
Well, there has been that time where you were showering and I was staying unclean.
I mean, we could talk about that later.
We will.
I don't want to put you on blast right now.
I'm feeling picked on, quite frankly. I'm feeling victimized.
Well,
I need my space.
I feel victimized because I seem to be the only person who I even know of that is not racing for the Cowboys to bring in Mike Zimmer as their defensive
Why do you think that is? Why is there people that are so violently opposed to so many things suddenly go, Zimmer? Yeah, okay.
I have a theory if you are willing to listen.
We have some time and we're paid to do these things.
So I'm not going to pretend to be a psychologist. All right. I've taken the quizzes, understood my personality. I'm an otter. I don't know what you are, but
You're an otter?
Yeah, there's a personality test that reflects kind of your personal traits, and there's like a lion and an otter, and I think there's an ostrich and a penguin. I could be getting the animals wrong, but
Can
I'm
I
an
be
otter.
the honey badger?
No,
he don't care.
I'm an otter, so I'm not going to pretend to be a psychologist and understand what everybody is, but we're here. Actually, you and I are literally here because we love sports, right? Sports have been a huge part of our lives, and a lot of our emotional well-being is tied to sports. A lot of our personalities are dictated by the teams
I know where you're going on
we root for. And the reality is, it's a much more pleasant experience to enjoy your teams than to hate them, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think, much like I'm certain at some point in life, you've been really mad with somebody, whether when you were growing up, whether it was your parents, your wife, your kids, or your coworkers, family member, brother, whatever, you have been irate and you have thought, I am never gonna calm down from this. And then like an hour or a day or a week or a month or a year passes and you cool off. And I think that is what has happened with a lot of Cowboys fans, because we all had the pitchforks, and we were ready. We were ready to make some moves. And all of a sudden I'm looking around and there are, farther and fewer people left. People, I think a lot of people are just, they've gone soft. I think a lot of people are saying, you know what, man, I just don't have the energy. I'm just going to convince myself. I'm going to cope myself into oblivion and say and pretend and believe, actually convince myself to believe that I like this move. Now, I'm not even going to say that the move is objectively bad. I disagree with it personally. But if you're so down to accept this without them performing a wide search, then I think you fit into the box that I'm kind of outlining here. If you're like, well, look, they just listed 2 names and I'm down with one of them, come on, like, remember how you felt a week ago,
Well, maybe we just ran out of steam. Maybe I just don't have it in me anymore. Or maybe it's kind of like, I just lost my ass in the market, and I'm just going to go buy a couple of T-bills and an IRA and take my 0.093% profit and go home and take a nap. Maybe it's just, I'm tired of this. Go hire your coach, and we'll have to go through what we know is going to be one hell of a year.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Just like, I will reinvest next year. I just want some sort of guaranteed return.
We all had a shared idea when we were in the moment, right? We should open a bar,
right?
We should whatever. And I came back in like 2 days later with like a business plan, and I had scouted some properties and everything. And it was like, there are already bars, we could just go to another, we can go build our own 6-pack at the grocery store.
Or
like,
why don't we just settle on naming a beer instead of opening a bar? Why don't we just make a beer?
I'm stunned at the immediacy with which people have kind of folded on this. I mean, and I'm stunned with how people are kind of caping for the situation by saying things like, well, who's going to want to join McCarthy in a lame duck year? That's their fault. like they set that situation up. So why are you now acting like it's a defensible layer to apply to this conversation? Like, you should be mad at the situation that they created that is awkward and difficult to work and operate within.
We are the what's the term for that? We're an enabler. We're enablers as fans.
I'm not.
Well, some of us are. Some of us are now. What is it? Where you now agree? I sympathize with my abuser. I suddenly now. Poor Jerry. He needs somebody that he knows. This has been a rough week.
Jerry's having a hard time because who's going to want to join Mike in a lame duck? If only Jerry were within complete and total control of the situation to where he could have affected it.
Some friendly faces, guys. He knows because it's Jerry. So maybe give him a break. Let him hire that. That's my attitude.
My grand take on this isn't even necessarily an objection against Mike Zimmer. It's how can you sign up so quickly when the process is identical to what everything they have done in the past has been, and when they're not even casting a wide net. I asked you to go down the street and get me a donut, and you went 1 block and said, hey, this person only had donut holes, and
and you didn't even go to the donut place. You stopped at the gas station and got the ones in the box.
I mean, I think I'm right here. I think I'm right, and I think if you disagree, you're wrong. It's that simple.
We owe a lot of NFL talk, and we'll come back looking around the league. Weird news, not weird. We knew it was coming. The Philadelphia Eagles will be playing on Friday night next year in Sao Paulo, Brazil. We checked they're 5 hours ahead, so I don't know how that will affect the kickoff. And we don't really know who they're going to play, but we do know Philadelphia is headed to Sao Paulo, which for what will be, I guess, a regular. We're going to talk about that. Also, Jerry had a rough outing yesterday. We had been led to believe somehow it had been intimated by somebody that Jerry was going to get the FIFA World Cup championship game, and he did not get it. There's some weird stuff behind the scenes there. Naming rights names that had to go away because of the FIFA itself and the size of that. Jerry didn't get the championship game, but he got how many others? 9? How many other games are
nine matches will be played in total, but there's some weird stuff happening, and that's the fact that they didn't get the final is pretty interesting.
Let's talk about the news around the league when we get back. We are sitting comfortably on Media Row here in Las Vegas. It is 4:44 in the blessed AM on our clock. Don't worry, though. 6:44 your time. Don't mind them brake lights. We'll get you where you're going. Looking around the league at the epicenter of the NFL live here on Media Row. This is The Huddle. He's RJ, I'm Rob, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Sports Star Boys are in Vegas for the big game.
Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Robin, RJ, and Jason and Joe are in Sin City and Radio Row for the big game, with security provided by AA Best Bail Bonds.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll all get drunk and woo!
I think you gonna get away with it. Not up in here.
Not up in here.
Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Synergenics, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
What's wrong, Cupid? Chris, I've lost my mojo. These arrows just don't work like they used to. The facts are people fall in love thanks to Connecticut, not poor old Cupid. You don't say. Oh, absolutely. Look over there. She's got silky smooth hair thanks to a Connecticut water softener. He's got softer skin and cleaner clothes, and now they're all lovey-dovey. Makes me sick. Don't feel bad, Cupid. You still have your bow and arrow. I'll rub it in, Chris. I know a Connecticut runs on kinetic energy like my bow and arrow. There's no computer to break. A Connecticut has it all.
This is Chris Canepa with Connecticut and San Antonio in the Hill Country. There's a reason people love their Connecticut. Right now, I'll let you try one for 90 days, absolutely free with no contract. Just call 656-PURE.
You know, you're right, Chris. I love my Connecticut, too. My diaper has never looked so white. And my wings, oh, I look good.
Cupid, you can always come to work for me.
You serious, Chris?
But you're going to have to wear pants.
ConnecticutSA.com. Are you tired of going to the dentist over and over again? Hi, I'm Dr. Andrew Mueller, Chief Oral Surgeon at Doctor's Implants.
We have put a lot of money into fixing my teeth over and over and over again, you know, a filling or a crown or this or that.
At Doctor's Implants, replacing your teeth with full mouth dental implants might be the long-term solution you're looking for.
The 6-Hour Smile is a permanent full-mouth teeth replacement. Your new smile will be custom designed to fit your face and lifestyle and will look and function just like regular teeth. You won't need to remove them from your mouth overnight, and you won't need adhesive to keep them in place. Eat freely and smile confidently again. Research them at doctorsimplants.com. Receive a complimentary doctor's consultation and CT scan when you call 210-640-0000. Again, that's 210-640-0000.
Home of the 6-Hour Smile.
Kelley Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant cash offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the its, KBB.com.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
but that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open. With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Rue Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Super Bowl 58 in Vegas is set. It's the Chiefs and Niners. Hear it right here on your exclusive home for the Super Bowl. 94.1.
R.I.P. There's certain people that have a glimmer in their eye, and Toby Keith was always one of them. We awoke this morning to find he passed. There was a fine era of good music with Toby Keith. Let's celebrate him appropriately all day long. This is a Huddle Up. Gather around. We got something to talk about here on the Morning Huddle. He's RJ. I'm Rob. We're coming up to the rodeo road trip as the Spurs about to hit the road for 10,000 miles and 9 consecutive losses, I guess. I don't know what to talk about or what to expect as we hit the road. I do know this: when Pop gets a couple of days of practice, normally that first game back from practice, they're at the very least competitive.
No. if I told you the over/under for margin of loss tomorrow was 9.5, so you're taking them to lose by single or double digits. That's really
on the road after 4 days of practice in Miami. I'm going to say they would. I would take the Spurs and the points.
I'm taking the over. I mean, if it's 9.5, I'm taking Miami. I don't know what the line is actually. I'm kind of curious now, but I'm definitely taking the. I'm really curious what the line is. It is not out yet, so
the vacancy list is starting to fill up around the NFL. I saw the Seahawks are going to bring in a Harbaugh.
Jay.
I didn't even know there was a Jay Harbaugh.
Oh, yeah.
Is he a brother or a cousin?
He's Jim's son.
Oh, so he's the legacy. He had to be hired.
That's correct. Yeah.
I saw Brett Favre's going to have to pay back his that welfare stuff.
Also, we were talking about this yesterday. It was Dan Quinn formally noted that Eric Bieniemy will not be on his staff in Washington.
Well, I hope he didn't rent or didn't buy, because the moment that Kingsbury was coming, Bieniemy is a guy that I hope the train hadn't left the station.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a weird run, and the lack of, he's interviewed, in so many cycles and not gotten the job. I mean, just been kind of a weird question, but I don't know that there's an opening for him right now, unless the Chiefs want him back after this weekend.
And I think they might. I think that they might, no matter what happens this week. I don't think that this offense has been as crisp as I think Mahomes wanted, and I think there'd be a certain comfort level as these guys continue to age.
So I want to bring something up that we saw pop up yesterday, because it's obviously early in the week, but it's still a football week. There's a football game that's being played on Sunday. Are you excited about it?
I hear there's a big game.
Don't do that. I hate to there's a guy over there, some guy I never heard of, Justin Timberlake. Don't do that. I hate when people do that. Anyway, Joel Garcia says on the Brigade Bar, what's the latest on the 49ers in the UNLV practice field?
Oh, the water issue. Yeah.
So
I didn't know there was a stimp meter for football field.
So this is from Adam Schefter's report on Monday. Shout out to our buddy Rob Stats Guerrera, who will stop by at some point this week. Rob got to meet Rob, which was an interesting situation. But this is the report. Field conditions for the Niners practice facility at UNLV have been met with widespread disapproval from various members of their organization. The NFL put in a sod field on top of field turf and started laying it just last week, when the NFL ordinarily requires the Super Bowl practice fields to meet certain standards in December. The NFL hardness score for fields averages 78, with no field being less than 70. The 49ers field is considered in the what number range?
I heard like the 50s.
It is the 50s. How is that possible?
What is that? What is 50s? So it's like if it got to the 20s, what is that, mud? Is there from rock hard dirt to mud to
water? I mean, like,
puddle?
How is this possible?
In this day and age, they're still having no one expected literally the rain, I think, is unexpected at this time of year.
Okay, how do you not have an
I
indoor
know it's
facility?
$1 billion entity.
It's not $1 billion. It's a multi-billion-dollar entity.
And this is the second year in a row that the field has played a role.
So I think this is important to note as it relates to the game. So the field was obviously a heavy issue last year in terms of slipperiness. The field, like in Arizona, is outside of the stadium.
Covered in a tarp as we speak.
But it wasn't covered in a tarp earlier in the day yesterday. But when we saw it on the way to media night, it was. But so it's sitting out there, and it has not stopped raining at any point. And it hasn't been like pouring down rain since we got here, but there's been at least a constant drizzle. At some points, obviously, a heavier rain. So I don't think that's good for the
field. They designed those things to drain. It's not they're not rolling in a mud puddle.
But why?
The root structure is going to be difficult to stick. It's just science.
But how can you ask these players to practice on a horrible field for the biggest game of their lives?
It is. It's a situation that of all the things, I mean, you plan on the game itself. You take care of the game and the process to the game, and then you build the Super Bowl around it. You know what I mean? And you feel like they built the event and then figured out how they could wedge a game into it.
Yeah.
Where are they going to practice? That kind of thought. And that's how you kind of feel this feels a little haphazard here in Vegas. And I kind of felt like things would be so wired tight because they're so used to throwing a party that this would be by the numbers, clockwork kind of a NFL Super Bowl.
Clockwork Orange. That's what this is.
It seems like there's
I've never seen that.
Some of the details have been left to those that really didn't study the problem. Says all the media with sore feet. Hey, we're talking silver and black next. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The professional football playoffs are here.
Out of the gun, back to Dak. Left side of the end zone. Touchdown!
14 teams with only one goal in sight. The big game in Las Vegas. Presented by Flight by Yingling. Hear it on your exclusive home. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Sick and tired of achy joints? Dread the idea of surgery? You need to call QC Kinetics today. Hey, it's James Spudger with San Antonio Sports Star. Listen, the state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative and non-surgical drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Pain from arthritis or injury, don't let this pain keep you from living your best life. QC Kinetics advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence, walk, run, play, and live without the danger and trauma of surgery and without harmful drugs. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
When my daughter gets a cold, I have a secret weapon. DayQuil Kids Berry from Vicks. DayQuil Kids is specially formulated to treat kids' most bothersome cold and cough symptoms quickly. And the best part is that DayQuil Kids Berry tastes really great. Aren't you supposed to be resting? Maybe.
DayQuil Kids Berry. The kids' berrylicious daytime congestion, coughing, stuffy head, stuffy nose, just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6 years plus.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure that you'll get your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
And Jackson Hewitt also guarantees the accuracy of your return for life. So don't just sit there. For your biggest refund guaranteed, walk into a Jackson Hewitt today and dance out Jackson Hewitt! Yeah!
All right, guys, who's ready for the biggest game of the season this Sunday? Hey, it's James Pledger. Come pregame with me and San Antonio Sports Star and the lovely ladies at Twin Peaks out at the Twin Peaks Park North location starting at noon. Show up early. The first 100 fans get a free square, and every fan will walk away with a free fried pickles bounce back. This is going on at all 4 area Twin Peaks locations. So come join me this Sunday and register to win tickets to Machine Head while you're here. That's starting at noon at Twin Peaks Park North, 410 and Blanco Road.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. KTFM Floresville.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NFL, Jerry Jones continues his search for a defensive coordinator. Ron Rivera is on tap for the next interview. The Spurs hit the road.
How good do you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, huddle up on us. It is the Morning Huddle. He is RJ Ochoa, managing editor of Blogging the Boys. I am Rob Thompson, your professor-in-chief. This is our Morning Huddle. We got something to say. Get to where you need to be. Got tickets to give away this hour to our Morning Brigade. Have your devices ready. Nimesh Patel is coming to our beautiful Aztec Theater, bringing his humor with him. He'll be at the Aztec on February the 10th. I have 2 tickets that says you will be there too. It's a Live Nation joint. If you don't win them, you can buy them there, and you will have that opportunity. And I would say, RJ, less than 30 minutes.
You sure about that?
Set your timers appropriately.
Wow.
Did you see the NBA yesterday unveil that new crazy basketball court that they're going to be doing?
Dude,
the slam dunk
that is the coolest thing of all time. Like,
let's talk about this.
We're finally using technology for the greater good.
I think it is awesome. But this is a slope that we're just now beginning to slide down. You get that, right? I mean, once you allow this, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on from here on out. If it is a playable surface and the players don't mind.
What is the problem? What is the,
I'm not.
Okay, well,
I'm saying
describe what this is first before we go any further.
It is like an LED. They're playing on a TV screen, basically. It's a giant 90 by 40 TV screen. That underneath them will be all kinds of stuff, laser shows. It could be. I don't know what the future will now hold, but they're now playing on a green screen. And that's what the NBA is headed toward. And they see this massive canvas that the NBA will now be able to fill with money. money can be made with this big floor.
Well,
And they're just
you can have
eager to find out
alternating sponsors. But what I'm thinking, and so this is, I believe, getting unveiled for the Steph Sabrina 3-point contest at the All-Star game.
Yeah, it's what it is. Yeah,
that's the unveiling of it. So I'm envisioning like flames and stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna look awesome.
It's gonna feel like what we're playing
NBA Jam.
NBA Jam session.
Why
He's
are
on
you
fire.
against this? What's
not
wrong
against
with
it.
you?
What I'm saying
Old
is,
man yells at cloud.
whenever you do something like this, there is an unintended consequence, and I don't know what it'll be, but there will be an unintended consequence because it's going to come a time where, when you turn on a basketball game, they won't be just playing on a solid floor. I mean, it progressed. You look at some of those college basketball courts, and you can applaud them or sit on your porch and remember the good old days. But the TCU basketball stadium in particular, have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Have you seen Oregon? Have the one that they've done? They're not bad. I'm not mad at them, but it makes for to watch a TCU basketball game on television does make for a difficult watch.
What would you want to see from a digital court? What would improve your?
I'm not upset with it. I think that it's kind of like the Sphere, this thing here in Las Vegas that we really don't. There's going to be an artist out there. U2, yeah, they're visionaries and they've done something with it, and it was spectacular. But there's an artist right now figuring out what they can do with this technology.
Coldplay.
Somebody going to figure out something that's going to blow our minds because we really haven't even touched the surface of what's possible in that thing. I feel like the same thing as we come into this new era of basketball, and we can suddenly broadcast things on top or underneath a layered broadcast underneath the game where you could have who knows what you're going to gambling totals popping up at any given moment. I mean, all kinds of stuff that are now available on that floor that don't need to be superimposed, that can be sent in directly from New York, that doesn't come through the filter of the local franchises being broadcast on the floor or what. It's a bold new world out there, and it means nothing but more money. So I'm really interested to see how it goes. I hope it doesn't start to take away from the visual experience of the game.
What if you could turn it off? What if you had a filter?
I wouldn't be. That I don't think you could, because this is a literal broadcast underneath their feet.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if you could say, I want the traditional broadcast?
I would probably go to that.
Wow.
And there's the other thing. When I was a younger man, way back in the day when we still had laces on a basketball, back in the late 80s, they decided that they would find another surface to play on. And they came up with these sport courts. Some of y'all have probably seen them. They're like rubberized courts.
Okay.
And they were cheaper to maintain. You didn't have to wax them. So a lot of schools put them in because they were and there was the belief that they were kind of padded and they would be good for you. But the opposite turned out to be the case, and knee injuries were everywhere. The safety of that court, I would need to be comfortable with on top of that.
Okay. So let's apply apples to our apple situation, not apples to oranges. Okay. What would you want to see underneath a Spurs court?
I have no idea. Again,
I have some suggestions.
I would love to see.
No, we talked about. I've taken this off the Coyotes' plate. I would love to see the last time Wemby shot. That's what I want to send to the court right now. Like I want to see, like, it's been, I want to see a game clock running, or it's been this long since Wemby touched the ball, and I want to see markers of Wemby shots. I want to see markers of Devin shots, and I want to be able to understand that in the moment. I don't want to have to go look at the shot chart after the game.
Oh, the possibilities here. So I'm at the free throw line, and underneath my feet, I can give you the brigade board. I can give you the brigade board, and you can read the comments as I'm taking. Like, you can read your Twitter feed. Yeah, at the free throw line as you're dribbling, you can look down at what people are saying to you.
I would love this information accessible to. I would love for Devin, just making up a situation, hypothetical off the top of my head here, playing against, I don't know, New Orleans maybe. I would love for for there to be a running timer, and for him to be like, it's been 7 minutes since Wemby touched the ball. Maybe we should utilize our all-world superstar 2010 guy that we're all inhibiting from being an all-star to win this game.
So if at any minute when you're dribbling and you look down and you see a red dot pass to Wemby,
yes,
and we could have that on the floor at any moment, and it would have like the dotted line and an arrow. It would show you throw the ball to the tall guy. We could literally have the play designed on the court. You could have, instead of the the drawing that the coach has on the board.
Yeah.
You could just stand there and follow the dotted line.
Yeah.
Run, follow the line.
We'll develop a technology to where Pop can take the clipboard and then he draws
It's
it
like
up.
the whiteboard.
And then he like Tony Starks it, and it like goes out onto the court. And so he's literally just trace the lines. Just trace the
follow
lines,
dots,
Devin,
man.
and then pass the ball. That's it. We don't need you to put up the shot. Just,
Now
etc.
we're talking. See, this is where technology becomes your friend. and
That's
not
what
your
I
master.
told you. I had ideas. I'm a money-making man right
so
here.
now we can discuss the potential here. But as a realist here, as the Spurs do hit the road for this.
Goldfinger 123 says on the Brigade Bar, or a message saying Wemby is open. How about just like a blaring sign? Wemby's open. Wemby's open. Wemby's open.
And
Wemby's
arrows
open.
pointing at him wherever
Pass
he
the
runs.
ball to Wemby. Pass the ball to Wemby. You think he goes for 20-10 tomorrow?
Yes.
You think he plays 30 minutes?
Yes.
You think the Spurs win?
No. I say that. I think it's going to be a very competitive game because Miami ain't what they were. I can't wait to see the Jaime Jaquez, my second place or third place rookie of the year, depending on your quantifications. But I do think the Spurs are going to be a little bit more competitive because I do know that Pop, I have a lot of problems. We're mad at him. He's still part of the family. One thing I do know, that given a couple of days of work, this team always looks better. Now, they do tend to regress quicker than any team I have ever seen professionally. I've never seen a team look good as they can for spurts and then look so bad so soon after. I've never seen a heartbeat team like this.
I'm not trying to directly compare Wemby to Devin, and I'm not trying to just harp on what happened last Friday night because it's been a few days at this point in time. But as we kind of extrapolate, because first of all, have you seen anyone say, you know what, Devin was right? Have you seen one person say, okay,
except his mama, but I haven't talked to her.
Okay, so both had 16 attempts on Friday night. Both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking identical theoretical production. I would like you to guess their plus minuses from that night. So again, they're literally in this specific game equal opportunity. I would like you to guess their plus minuses.
Unfortunately, with a loss, they're both negative. I would say Wemby's a -5 or 6, and Vassell about -12.
Vassell -10.
-10.
Wemby +10.
+10, really?
Imagine that.
And this was the Pelicans game?
Yeah. This was Friday night.
And that was against Valencia.
No, I'm sorry. This was Cleveland. This was Cleveland. My bad. But I can pull up the Pelicans.
Put up their big boy pants because I know that they both played well against the Pelicans.
But
I don't think any of us have any issue with what Devin did up until the last minute.
Never mind. This was the Cleveland game. But the point is, it remains the same. If you had literally the exact same opportunities and you were a -10 to Wemby's +10, you do not need the same amount of opportunities. You do not need to put up as many shots as the all-world generational 7-foot wonder. You do not need
I want you to
that.
put yourself in Devin Vassell's mind right now, because I don't think any of us are overly mad at him, because this is I'm going to get back to the reference with Gladiator, and
we're mad at what he represents.
It's not you, it's us. It's not our fault, your fault you feel this way. It is our fault for allowing you to get to the situation where you legitimately think that you're option one, and not only option one today in the locker room, you come back and say, I'm option one tomorrow. If I'm in the same situation, I'm ripping it again.
Well, it's like a child who has like bad habits or whatever, and somebody goes to visit them and they walk away. They're like, that child was so misbehaved. It's not the child's fault. It's the parents' fault.
At some point we got to go, Pop, how did we get here with him? Because I can tell you this. Pop can't walk into the locker room now and go, you know what, all this other stuff, Evan, you better now pass it. Whenever there's a doubt, you throw it to Wemby. We're going to run into the same situation that Pop created with Jeremy Sohan, where he didn't know which way to turn. Every time he stepped foot on the court, it was a mistake. It was a mistake this way. So he went to try to fix it the next time down. And he made a mistake that way and this way. And then you start thinking about everything you do. So we're going to lean on Pop that now has to go to Devin and say, you know what, all this stuff I've been telling you for 2 years, which should have been already kind of fully explained to you last year, the moment we had the number 1 draft pick, before Wemby was even a Spur. You should have known at that point, guess what? I am now 1A and maybe 2.
And the problem is, he's a usable player.
But how do you fix this? I don't think Devin is going to be fixable.
No.
I think from now on, it's going to percolate until the point he's going to go, I got to go, man. I'm not a little bit here.
I agree with you because of where we can't put this toothpaste back in the tube. But that's what's so frustrating about Pop is he was a usable player. Jeremy kind of remains a usable player, but you already broke him. You know what I mean? And you had to kind of apologize to him. So, like, you're inhibiting Jeremy from thriving, right? We talked about the shooting stars or the rising stars challenge last week. So Jeremy's all pissed off because he's been misused and miscast.
And now Devin
Devin's going down that path, and Devin's like, man, why does all of San Antonio hate me? Like, you know, I'm a productive NBA player. Like, what's my problem? Well, your problem is, man, like your coach is hanging you out to dry by letting you know, run around thinking you're on the same footing as Wemby, and you're not. And I'm sorry that that's the case, and I'm sorry that you've been led to believe that, but that's not our fault. That's not your fault. That's Pop's fault.
And you're going to have to accept the fact that this is how it's going to be. It's going to be difficult for Pop to get, as you just said, and I think it's the appropriate term, to get that toothpaste back in the tube, because from here on out, because if I'm Devin, I'm like, Coach, we've won 10 games. I mean, what are you talking about? What do you mean? I am all you got. I'm the only guy you can plan on 48 minutes. I'm around, man. I don't need to put my fist up. I'm not on a minutes restriction. When you needed me, I have been here. I haven't been pulled out. I've been playing back-to-backs, and now you're coming to me? We've won 10. I get, if I'm Devin and his group, I'm a little upset. Like, hey, you're saying one thing in practice, and you're saying another thing in game? And on top of that, as much as we get on what you did to Jeremy, keep in mind, I suffered because you put Jeremy at point guard. My game got hurt because I was running out there with 5 dudes and one of them couldn't handle the ball on a regular basis. So we have suffered all season long. This rodeo road trip probably couldn't come soon enough because they're going to have to kind of figure out the pecking order again.
They need some tunnel vision, and this is some, you know, forced tunnel vision on them. And I think, you know, it'd certainly be nice to see these things kind of. It's hard to move further south than they are right now. You know what I mean? Like, and
then put on that next layer, RJ. We are less than a week away from the trade deadline, and there are guys that know that there's at least 3 guys on the Spurs.
We're 2 days away. What do you mean less than a week? I mean,
that calls are being made that this packing for the rodeo road trip might be a permanent road trip. Like, I might not come back to this apartment again.
I mean, and that's the thing. Like, if I'm Devin, or if I'm Devin's group, as you put it, I'd be saying, like, okay, I'm going to be a role player somewhere. You know, that's a hard thing for any athlete to swallow, but role players are valuable in the
still
NBA.
getting paid.
Right. Let me go be a role player somewhere else.
Right.
Like, let me go play an actual role instead of, you know, thinking, you know, because I'm on a team that is what it is, that I have a chance to contribute and go for 26 points a night. I mean, let me go somewhere and set guys up, because you're not putting me in a position or anybody else to set anyone up. I mean, if you're Wemby's personal assist man, at least you know that. You know what I mean? At least you can find ways to thrive in that role.
Right.
But like, nobody has been, I wouldn't even say relegated. Nobody's been promoted to that role. You can't just expect like it to naturally fall into, you know, course like that. You have to coach it. I mean, you have to work it. I mean, and we're not having this conversation in December. I mean, like, it is the trade deadline. How have you not figured this out yet?
Take the time. Hey, this is what we do every day at 7. If you're not aware, you can listen to it whenever you like. If you are a subscriber to our YouTube channel, so go do that right now. Pay the like tax. Put a thumb on it, as we like to say. We're sitting comfortably in Radio Row, Media Row, as it were, in the Texas part of the row. Surrounded by those. We got lots of NFL talk. Looking at the Dallas Cowboys, the search continues. We're going to look very closely at that, talk about the game itself as we get closer. Don't forget, we got a guest dropping by in just a couple hours. Brian Billick, former NFL coach, will step into the gauntlet that is the Morning Huddle and face the Morning Brigade and the questions that they have to offer. So if you have anything, throw them at our direction. Hey, coming back, still no answer on the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator search, though the usual suspects are lining up. We'll look at what the Cowboys are doing and look around the rest of the NFL as the NFL gumbo, she is a-boiling. Hold on tight. We're glad you're with us today. This is the Morning Huddle. He is RJ, I am Rob, and this is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You know, Dr. Jacob Torres over at the Institute for Functional Health. I met him about 8 years ago, and he would be proud of me right now as we come down to Media Row. Been a lot of walking up and down the halls here in Vegas just to get to where you need to be. It has been steps galore, and a couple years ago, this would have not been very easy for me. There'd have been a lot of resting on the sides, but since I got to know Dr. Torres, my fitness levels reached a point where 20,000 steps, that ain't fun, but I can do it. Can you say that? Are you in better shape today than you were yesterday? Can you say that you look and feel better today than you did 10 years ago? If you go to the Institute for Functional Health, there's a lot of folks that do, because I'm one of them. Let me tell you, Dr. Torres changed my life because I'm one of those folks that thought you could just find something online, a quick diet, drop 30 pounds, and, you'll be back to normal. And found out that didn't work. And then another thing didn't work. And then you finally give up on it. And you just realize you're just going to get old and things are going to start getting sore, not work. And that's just going to be your life. That does not need to be your life. You start losing weight and other things start working as well. My life has changed because of the Institute for Functional Health. I will tell you every day, come and see the before and after photos. I am a different person. If you have resolved that 2024 will be the year that you'll look back on, that it will be the pivotal point, that from here on out, you're going to live the life that you're not afraid to, go take a walk, to go do some things that you couldn't have done before. I want you to call Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health and find out what so many of us already know, that life can be changed. You can lose some weight and feel better. Here's the number you need. It's 210-468-1891. The website is iffhealth.com. Listen to me close. If you're ready to change your life, if you resolve to do it, the Institute for Functional Health is your answer. Call them today, change your life. And when you do, I want you to thank me later.
The Sports Star Boys are in Vegas for the big game.
Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Robin, RJ, and Jason and Joe are in Sin City and Radio Row for the big game, with security provided by AA Best Bail Bonds.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll all get drunk and
Yeah! Woo!
I think you gonna get away with it. Not up in here. Not up in here.
Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Synergenics, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Now you can get a Walmart Plus membership, plus not pay for it, because it's included with Straight Talk wireless plans. You get free delivery with Walmart Plus a Paramount Plus subscription included. Plus, you pay less for gas. That's a lot of pluses.
Only Straight Talk gives you unlimited 5G data and Walmart Plus included on select plans for free.
Straight Talk wireless, available at Walmart.
Requires service on Gold or Platinum Unlimited. One offer per eligible account. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. Additional terms apply.
Nothing says I love you like romantic, timeless jewelry. Even better when you can save an extra 20%. Right now at Diamonds Direct, all fashion favorite jewelry is 20% off. That's earrings, bracelets, pendants, bands, colored gemstone jewelry. Get 20% off Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable prices. Special financing too. Or something for years to come. A fashion favorite from Diamonds Direct. Shop in-store or online at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
This is Rob Thompson. I'm here with my brother, Jason Thompson, a lawyerforus.com.
I'm a lawyer for you. I've helped you.
Yes, he has, and many others here in San Antonio. And that's why I'm so glad I get a chance to talk to you today about what happens when you get into an accident.
It's overwhelming for everybody involved. you have this paralysis of what to do next, who to talk to, how do you get medical care, or you're in the hospital and who's going to pay for this? It's this swirl of anxiety. And many times it's even worse than the injury itself. You have to help people through that situation. And I tell every client the same thing. Don't worry. I've got this. I will take care of this. Just worry about your family. Just worry about getting healthy. If I can do that for you and maximize your recovery, you stay in business, you keep clients. And for 30 years, I've kept every client I've ever had. I don't lose clients. I represent their family and friends because that's how seriously I take my job.
A lawyerforus.com. You can find him at 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Jason Thompson, a lawyerforus.com.
Good morning, everybody. Coming up on the Blitz, the sights and sounds of opening night. We were there last night. We'll react to all of that. Sean Merriman will join us to talk some NFL football. Of course, the big game is why we're here in Las Vegas to preview San Francisco and Kansas City. Radio Row, all kinds of surprises. You just never know who might stop by. Now we'll go back to the Morning Huddle with the Professor and Morty.
It is the Morning Huddle. Gather around. He is the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, otherwise known as Morty.
I know that they're super jealous that we have cool nicknames and they're not creative enough
You
to
mean
come up
Left
with
Shoe and
something.
Big Fudge?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Morning Huddle has existed for 2 days.
We already have a morning board, a morning brigade.
That's what I'm saying. I know that they're sad because they're lazy and they don't have cool stuff like this, but if only that was all completely and totally in their control. You know what I mean? So, but you know what? I'm in respect of Big Fudge and whatever he wants to decree, and so
there you have it.
Let's go.
It's funny. We all have our devices with the different kind of steps, and Joe leads us in steps because of the many trips to the bathroom.
Yeah,
he
Joe
gets
is
an extra mile.
Joe is there a lot.
It's a busy sprint for him. We sit in media row, and I've been to a lot of Super Bowls, and there's always a thread. There's always a storyline coming into it that's not game related, but player related. Every Super Bowl, there's something underlying, whether it's been Brady and Belichick or Mahomes newness lately, but prior to that, the stories were rampant. I have never seen the melding of celebrity like I've seen with the Taylor Swift phenomenon. I've just never. I remember in my 40 years of following sports, the Showtime Lakers, where you had Nicholson and Diane Cannon and all the stars that came to the games, and part of watching the Laker games was to see who was going to be in the stands. And they played to that. Suddenly you could see fans in stands. They put the lights back so you could actually see them sitting there. But it wasn't a marriage. It was kind of like the Lakers were running alongside the entertainment. It wasn't like they were together. It didn't feel like that. This is a coming together of not only personalities but franchises and venues and parts of our society. I've never seen anything like this, and it just keeps growing.
It's strange in that it's ultimately because of two people who are dating, right? Like
it's like as simple as that.
Think about it. Like yesterday, Commissioner Goodell was asked about one of the players' girlfriends. I don't mean to underscore who she is, but like that's why this is a question. You know what I mean? It isn't because she's the halftime performer or anything like that. It's literally because of her affiliation with one of the players. That's crazy.
Well, and we come to it from the perspective of the sports media and all that's been going on. I have a very dear friend that's in the music business that was at the Grammys in LA last week, and going and talking with her. The music industry is like, what is football coming in? Like they look at it like we're infringing on their world domination, the music business, and the NFL looking at the music business and Taylor Swift like they're infringing on their brand. Like each of them looks like they're piggybacking brands, and I think that's why we look at this phenomenon that is so strange that the commissioner of the NFL was asked about Taylor Swift, one of the players who's dating a musician. That's happened 1,000 times before, but nothing like this. And it keeps getting bigger.
We are in a bit of a bizarro world for NFL storylines. Beyond that, this isn't even necessarily NFL related, but there was the FIFA announcement on Sunday of World Cup venues when it ventures here in North America. And there was the matter of MetLife Stadium being chosen for the final.
Right.
Not AT&T Stadium, so another title game loss for the Cowboys. But then there was the matter of corporate sponsorship
like AT&T Stadium.
So because the sponsors for the locales in which these matches will be played are not FIFA sponsors. So as an example, some games or some matches are going to be played at SoFi, MetLife, AT&T, because in this case, SoFi, MetLife, AT&T are not FIFA sponsors. FIFA will not refer to them that way. FIFA is not going to give them the promotion of being associated with their tournament. They're going to be referred to as Los Angeles Stadium, New York Stadium, Dallas Stadium. That's wild.
All I know, if I was in charge of the promotion side, the marketing side of AT&T, and I had signed a deal with Jerry where I'm going to pay you $30 million, $40 million, whatever it is, over the next decade for every time the Cowboys are playing at home. Where are they playing? AT&T Stadium. Where are they playing?
It's really wild to consider that.
What did AT&T? What was the quid pro quo with this? What did AT&T get? I'm just really curious because I'm backing away from this, and that's all the NFL stadiums. It's not just AT&T. Whoever paid money to put my logo on the side of that building, and the biggest event you will ever host, I don't get to use my name. I would hope that was built into the contract when they sign that, if there's an event where they have to be precluded, they can do it, because I'd say no.
It's very strange how all these sponsors would allow it, but it seems a matter in which their hands are tied. I mean, on one, like in a vacuum, it makes sense, but to your point, I mean, it's the venue. You know what I mean? Like, I do think it's funny how venues kind of like, nobody is going to like that week or whatever be like, oh, you're going to the match at Dallas Stadium. Nobody's going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that's how you're going to brand it, right, for
Jerry World or AT&T.
Well, the one I've always found, I mean, it's a recent thing, but the Steelers Stadium, do you know what it's called?
I know they changed it, but it's the stadium with the field. It's like something stadium at Heinz Field or something like that, where they kept Heinz after they lost it.
So it is called Acrisure
There
Stadium.
we go, Acrisure.
But it used to be Heinz Field, and it had the big ketchup bottle. It's no longer that.
But it's still Heinz Field to us.
People call it that. That's amazing for Heinz.
Yes,
you know
that's
what I mean?
that's why the value there. If I'm AT&T and you go, well, I got some news for you. I'd like to ask your permission to take the name off the side of the building for an event that's going to happen 9 times that we won't be able to say AT&T once. So all those millions of dollars that you've given me, you're not going to get any benefit out of this. It would be a very difficult conversation to have with AT&T.
I mean, maybe they don't have to foot the bill for keeping the lights on, but I mean, so that's what they got. That's the quid.
I'm curious. I wonder what happened because there had been reports, now obviously unsubstantiated, but they appeared to be relatively.
It seemed like
sure
Dallas
that they were going to get it, and then at the last minute, as is so typical with FIFA, it just seems like if FIFA's involved, something weird is going to happen, and at the last minute, Jerry didn't get it, and it's going to be in New York. Which, I mean, it makes some sense, but. How did it get to that, and somebody benefited by the selling short of the Cowboys Stadium? Because why change it the last minute, and why did we think it was going to be the other way?
I don't know.
Bunch of snakes, man.
I mean, if you could have picked from a viewing standpoint the best North American spot to watch the final, I don't know that I would have picked AT&T.
No, I don't know, but I don't know what I'd pick. I mean, I can picture an outdoor stadium.
Put in the Rose Bowl.
Like that. Yeah. I can picture that with the blue sky above and that kind of stuff. But that's going to be it's a summer event, right? Are we going to be?
Yeah. It was only in the fall because it was in Qatar and of the weather and the heat. That's the only reason they moved it to November last year or 2 years ago, I guess.
And this is coming up in.
This is 2026.
2026. 9 games,
matches.
The world matches. The world comes to Dallas Stadium.
Well,
in Arlington.
Yeah, there are matches all over North America, to be clear. Now, what's strange is Dallas, if you want to refer to it that way, they didn't even get the first match in the continent. I would say continental, but in the United States. So I believe the first Mexican match is at Azteca Stadium, which is like the creme de la creme stadium throughout the country of Mexico. I don't know where the first Canadian match is, but the first American match is happening at SoFi. So you don't get the first, you don't get the last, you just get 9 in between.
Now they have to play on grass. The AT&T does not have grass, so they're going to build a platform above the turf field and put grass in.
Yeah, because they don't have the ability to roll it in the way other stadiums do.
and this is going to work.
I mean, I guess so. You can put a basketball court on platforms.
What is the will they be able? Does the FIFA have a stimp meter as far as ground hardness?
I would assume this will pass all the tests. It's so funny how all these NFL stims you want grass, we could totally put grass.
We can put grass in.
Yeah, but our players, no, we got turf.
Like that time we put grass in the parking lot of the Alamo Dome. That worked out well.
Exactly.
That kind of thing. There is a grass problem here in Las Vegas as they suffered through, I guess, unprecedented rain. It feels unprecedented because there's water up to the curbs over the last couple of days. And it's been raining, but not terribly hard. But the rain has affected the 49ers practice situation. The field is muddy and way too soft because they're kind of doing the same thing, right? Did they put grass over turf?
Here?
Yeah,
they put sod over the turf at UNLV. By the way, Johnny Football, not that one.
Yeah,
chimes in on Twitter, so not the Brigade Bar, but an extension of it at us, and says, "I believe it had to do with the plan for the field in Jerry World. I've been to 2 major games there, and the field sucked hard for soccer." And then added, Canada's first game is in Toronto, and see, in the U.S., the second game in the United States, that is in Seattle.
See, that I get. I would have thought they would have been a viable candidate to host the championship as well.
When I play FIFA and I take over as the U.S. manager, all of our matches are always in Seattle.
That's a good venue. Speaking of, when you play FIFA, that is the primary engine behind every EA game.
Yes, and
FIFA begins.
You've told me that before.
Else.
You know what is cool about? So I'm a big career mode person. What is really cool but completely unrealistic in life. But that's what makes a video game fun.
Absolutely, dynasty mode in college football.
But in FIFA, you can take over as the manager of whatever club you want, and you can also simultaneously manage an international team. Mm-hmm. So you could take over like Manchester United and then also be the American manager. That's cool.
That's the real world.
Nobody could do that in the real world. What do you mean?
Well, who manages you can only be like the Team USA.
Yeah, it's a full-time thing to be the United States manager.
What about
national
like
team.
the British? Doesn't the coach do both?
All the international teams, whatever country, have their own full-time manager, and all the club teams have their own. They don't say like, okay, we're going to the World Cup. Let's pluck whoever.
The announcement yesterday that they will be playing, I assume, on grass in Sao Paulo, Brazil, a Friday night game with the Philadelphia Eagles will play host. So this will be the first time since, I guess, 1970 that the NFL will play a Friday night opening weekend game.
A lot of people. So this is going to be Friday after the season opener,
right?
So, but you noted the time difference yesterday.
They're 5 hours ahead of us.
So I doubt it's Friday night our time. Because there's no way they're playing.
Well, what if they just played early there? They don't know what time football should be. They think that they're new, so
That's
they
true.
played early there, and we just get it prime time here.
I assume that they're going to play at prime time there, and it'll be like 3:00 here on Friday after the opening night.
I'm happy. Go to Brazil. I don't know how many teams are excited that at some point in the next decade they're going to have to load up everything they got and either fly to Europe or South America for a game. And now the odds of you getting an international game have increased significantly, that they're doing Britain, Germany, and now Sao Paulo. Cowboys are going to have to travel at some point. Jerry has done his very best to put an anchor onto that franchise. And the rest of the league has too. They just soon Dallas come to them instead of go to Europe on a road game. But at some point, Jerry's going to have to hit the road.
I would offer that there's no way they're going to Sao Paulo. There's no way.
Explain to people why the Cowboys aren't such an apt candidate to do this when you think that they were.
So when you play an international game, in this case, the Eagles are going to Sao Paulo. That's a home game.
Yeah, they're giving up.
That they have to give up, and so they have.
But do they get the gate, or what is the? I mean, what?
No, it's not the same, obviously. So they have to give that up. And in addition to, a home game, home atmosphere, home field advantage, however you call it.
All the activation that goes along with it.
Right. So, the Cowboys are never going to give up a home game. That's why they're not going to play internationally as the home team. The last time Dallas played an international game was in London in 2014. They were the visiting team for the Jaguars. But generally, the teams, again, that are the hosts give up a home game. Nobody wants to give up a home Cowboys game. That's why the Cowboys don't travel internationally, because if you're the Jaguars or the Bills or whoever, especially the AFC teams that only get the Cowboys once every 8 years, as far as repetitive pace, you don't want to give that up. You only get that once a decade, effectively. You know what I'm saying?
It's interesting that the Cowboys are so big, and we look at them as the front and center franchise for the NFL, that the competing franchises don't want them to leave the country because they might give up the opportunity for Dallas to come to their city.
Right.
And Jerry is so big he doesn't want to leave because he doesn't want to give up one of his own home games. It's a very interesting dynamic they have built for the way that the NFL markets themselves outside of the States.
There's a lot of people who noted, obviously, that all the opponents who the Eagles will host in 2024 and said, oh, maybe the Cowboys will be this up. There is no way. The Cowboys Eagles in Philadelphia is one of the guaranteed blockbuster, big time ratings, whatever, blah, blah. And here's the thing, too. People always say, and I know Dallas visited Tampa in the opener in 2021, but people always say, man, put the Cowboys. Or people always throw out the juiciest possible matchup. The NFL does not need to give you the best possible game in week 1. You've been wandering through the offseason desert. You don't need filet mignon. You know what I mean? They save those games, and they're very strategic about this for early November sweep season. You know what I'm saying? They do not burn the big time matchups for things like that. This will be Eagles. I don't know all their home opponents, but it will be Eagles Bucks or Eagles.
That'll be enough.
Eagles Texans or something like that, because it's inconsequential enough.
I know that the Super Bowl is different, and I know that there are international concerns above and beyond football, and the security that's required to put on the Super Bowl, even in the peaceful times, is pretty strict. The road show that is involved to go down to Sao Paulo and put on a football game, the sheer magnitude of the effort, I think, can be judged by what you see here at the Super Bowl. I can't imagine the logistics of what's coming when you do it the first time in Brazil. I mean, I wouldn't want to be the first team to have to go down there. And then the second half of this is, and this is not new, the NFL choosing to play on a Friday night.
This doesn't bother me as much as it bothers y'all.
It is a line that has been clearly delineated in the football world. Friday is for high school, Saturday is for college, and Sunday is for the NFL. And they all benefit from this schedule. And one never steps on the toes of the other.
Well, the NFL has done a peaceful job of avoiding college Saturdays until the regular season, and then we get to the bowl season, and then they play on Saturdays.
Because we would love to have Thursday, Saturday, Sunday NFL, and the networks would love to give it to you as well. But they realize,
I think in a perfect world, they would have liked to have waited till late November when high school football season is over and done the Friday night game then. But the problem with that is, to your point, it's not a London game where they have a process and a procedure that they're incredibly familiar with, or at this point the German game or whatever. But it's uncharted territory. So it makes sense that they would want to get them there, and they want the run up of the season starting and all the press and everything like that.
I get it, but it's a slippery slope, man. It's this Friday, and then suddenly it's next Friday because demand warrants it. And suddenly now you got gate issues on some high school football games because the local pro team is playing a big game on Friday night, and then everybody suffers. And it's just one of those lines. There will be no obvious, negative.
But if it's at 3:00, we're saying, it won't impact it. In fact, it will lead up to high school football.
I would just prefer that they just said, we just don't do Friday because that is our pipeline of talent. That's, we don't want to take anything away from a game that's being questioned on a lot of different fronts. At the very least, we can allow the Friday night thing. And I know this is a kind of a more of a Texas thing than a lot of states who don't really care, but for the hotbeds of football, Friday nights do matter. And whether coaches have to, scout instead of miss a game, or you're taken away from one from the other, it just isn't something that I feel comfortable with as a long-term answer. But hey, man, you got to grow the game. And as we saw this week, for the very first time, F1 kind of crept into the news with Hamilton moving. There is competition abroad. I mean, the NFL is not just fighting against NBA and Major League Baseball. There are other concerns for them now.
They want to be the Premier League. That's who the NFL wants to be. And the Premier League is playing some regular season matches here in the States next year. And so there's, the Premier League, I mean, everybody in soccer has a Brazilian presence, but you've got to grow. I mean, they are not satisfied with domestic domination. They want international domination, prestige worldwide.
Do you feel like as they grow the brand, is it also a quest for new talent? Still chosen because those guys, they play. That's a very athletic culture. It feels like they play a lot of sports internationally very well, from basketball to, we talked about soccer, and we see them on the international contingent during the Olympics. Do they see that like the NBA sees Africa and the Soviet satellite states, the stands as NBA.
I think they just view it
rich
as a lot of people to potentially be
ticket
fans.
sales. That's all they're
That's
chasing.
all they want fans. That's all they care about. They don't care. They have enough talent domestically.
We are going to continue all of our coverage from Media Row all day long. Don't forget the Blitz with Left Shoe and Big Fudge get going at 2 o'clock your time, noon our time. Hey, coming back, lots of Media Row talk to continue. If you are in need of a transitional strategist, there is one roaming the fields here at Media Row. We'll get you caught up on the league. Look at the ongoing search for the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator. Who are they going to turn to? What are they going to do? And insights from Media Row next. Don't go anywhere. We got stuff to do, and I got tickets to give away. Let's do them right now. Nimesh Patel is coming to the Aztec Theater. He will be here next week, February the 10th. If you want to go, get on your device. 656-3776. 656 ESPN is the number to dial. And if you're caller number 5, Edwin, number 5, you're going to go see Nimesh Patel and his humor at the Aztec. Hey, Media Row coverage continues live right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on the Blitz, we continue here at Radio Row in Las Vegas, getting ready for the big game between San Francisco and Kansas City. Sean Merriman, former NFL player, is going to join us.
Plus Laura Oakham, and we'll have our thoughts and sounds from NFL opening night from last night inside Allegiant Stadium. The Blitz in Vegas starts at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds, nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149. Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. Whether you've been living with chronic and nagging pain for years, or if you've recently experienced an injury, our goal is to get you out of pain as quickly as possible. Arasti is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, Arasti accepts most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure that you'll get your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
And Jackson Hewitt also guarantees the accuracy of your return for life.
Hewitt!
So don't just sit there. For your biggest refund guaranteed, walk into a Jackson Hewitt today and dance out Jackson Hewitt! Yeah!
At Granger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Attention all homeowners, do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass? Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just call 800-NEW-WINDOWS for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Call 800-NEW-WINDOWS right now. Don't wait. Call 800-NEW-WINDOWS. 800-NEW-WINDOWS.
Okay, if you love playing fantasy sports like I do, take it to the next. It's the #1 daily fantasy sports app. This is Rob Thompson, and right now, with the big game around the corner, NBA in full swing, there's no better way to get into the action than with Prize Picks. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections on a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's that easy. You can turn $10 into $250 just like that in 2 taps. I love the easy gameplay, the quick withdrawals, and huge selection of players, the stat options, and more. And check this out. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy platform with injury protection insurance. It'll keep you in the game even if one of your players isn't. It's great. Over 7 million sports fans have already signed up, and I'm one of them. So join me and watch your favorite players and get paid doing it right now. Just download the Prize Pick app and use the code Alamo. That's Alamo on Prize Picks for your first deposit. They'll match up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
Super Bowl 58 in Vegas is set. It's the Chiefs and Niners. Hear it right here on your exclusive home for the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Huddle up. We got something to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Rob Thompson, my co-host RJ Ochoa. You know, a tradition at the big game here, the Super Bowl 58, as you kick off the week, you have Monday Night Media Night, where we are get to, in a homogenized way, are introduced to the teams. Individual players are selected to sit at a lectern and take questions. As they did for opening night, so did Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, yesterday, offered us from the locker room of the Las Vegas Raiders the State of the Union for the NFL. And you know, Roger Goodell, you can look at commissioners in a lot of different ways, but you should never forget who the man works for. He is the representative, the face of 32 individual billionaires, and he has to protect them first. That protecting the shield and never tarnish the shield is more about protecting the owners and never tarnish the owners. And now what the owners do on their own, that's something entirely different. Ask the Irsay family. But I will say that Goodell is the perfect. I saw the quote on an SI article, a Sports Illustrated article. Read them while you still can, by Connor Orr. He called Roger Goodell a soulless shield for the NFL owners. And yesterday, as the league faces all kinds of questions, there is the ongoing issue with just the health and welfare of players post-career, the concussion thing. Diversity in coaching is always going to be an issue. There is the ongoing growth of the league itself. We talked about going into Brazil. And then there's the ever-growing gambling aspect to the NFL. And then you pair that what is with an officiating crisis that appears at least every year to be reaching ahead, though whether they... You know, we've reached a time where absolute change needs to occur. We're not there yet, but that's where Roger Goodell sat as he faced the NFL media yesterday afternoon. And certainly the questions were coming hot and heavy, and included Taylor Swift, in fact. But let's look at where the league sits. And one of the primary questions as we closed out the season was the officiating and the scrutiny and the problems, the issues with that. Well, Goodell was asked about the scrutiny on officials and where the NFL lies today in the realm of reffing.
Professional sports and all sports, officiating is part of that. I think in the NFL, the level of scrutiny is at the highest I've ever seen it. And that's part of our popularity. I understand that. It's part of the technology. You all do such a great job that you see more than you could ever see in officiating. The game is faster. I think our officials do a great job. They are superior. But at the end of the day, no one's perfect, whether it's all of us that watches the games or play the games or coach the games or the officials. We have to continue to try to get better. We have to use technology where we can to try to improve their performance, let them use technology to make sure they get the right answer. But I think they do an incredible job, but we're going to keep working to get better.
You know, and officiating and mistakes, he's right, it's part of the game, and nobody can be perfect. But as they've allowed this fire hose of gambling money to arrive, as I sit around and I see the DraftKings booth and I see FanDuel next, and I check my Prize Picks to make sure.
Sit in Las Vegas.
And I sit in Las Vegas. This was a league that, 5 years ago frowned heavily. That they needed to. There was every active measure not only to stay away from gambling, but people out of the league, and they're still having to deal with gambling issues on a regular basis. And that is going to be if not the primary issue moving forward with the NFL, is this duel of technology, correctness, and just the haphazardness of a game, all trying to stay on the same path. I get that Goodell's got problems, but I don't think that they're, you could admit that you have a problem, but if you don't try to solve it, you're no better. It's just the first step. And I didn't hear this is what we're going to do. In fact, he said, you guys have technology to check up on us so much. I don't understand why more of this technology isn't given to the officials, but that's just one facet of what he faced yesterday, as Goodell had to, we talked about him having to deal with the Taylor Swift part of things, but the integrity of the game continues to stay in question. I don't think anybody doubts the integrity as the primary objective, but when you're dealing with corporations like this, you got to follow it. He talked about his objective and protecting the integrity of the Shield.
Well, it's our number one objective. This is true gambling and outside of gambling, right? The integrity of our game is critical. And so we spend a lot of time focusing on that, educating, making sure that all of our personnel are aware of our gambling policies in this case, or any other policy that can affect the integrity of our game. So ultimately, that's our primary job. This week coming in here, we wanted to make sure not just the two teams, but every other club will likely have representatives here. We wanted to make sure they understood it, our league staff and everyone else, so they understood exactly what the policies were. And they all understand the importance of it. We clarified our policy earlier this year, and it was to put the importance for our players that betting on NFL games or inside information or anything that would negatively impact the integrity of our game is absolutely off limits.
Roger Goodell yesterday in his State of the Union.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. But why can't they bet on anything else? Why can't they bet on the Premier League or the NBA or whatever?
It's these nebulous lines that I don't have an answer. I don't know where we land here. We just kind of, all we can do is walk through the field and hold the landmine, the metal detector, 3 feet in front of us and hope we don't step on a bomb, knowing full well that we are surrounded with opportunity for misfortune at every turn.
It is wild that we're sitting here in Las Vegas. I remember a few years ago, now it's like 6 or 7 years ago, I had full-on plans to actually come out here with a good friend of mine, Bobby Belt.
So Tony Romo's thing?
Yeah. Bobby and I were going to come to Tony Romo's event, the NFFC, and the NFL was like, how dare you consider going to Las Vegas? And you don't just sit here, Rob. You don't just sit here adorned with all the NFL, things around us.
And looking at the NFL slot machines over to our right.
That's a great point. They built a stadium. They built a whole, They took over the land and conquered it and didn't apologize in any way, shape, or form. They beat the MLB here. They beat the NBA here. You know what I mean?
They got it. It is a tough line to walk. We'll continue to look at what Roger Goodell had to say. But coming back, Cowboy fan, how's your altitude? Is it Zimmer? Will it be Rivera?
Well, Zimmer's interview's happening today.
It could be today. Jerry,
we'll see.
Jerry's checking the Indeed responses. We're talking Cowboys. Is there a DC imminent? Hold on tight. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Over the past decade, the Rue Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games seats and 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights. And when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind. There at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases on your Discover card. Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I already have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
Febreze.
Fabric Talk. Hey, it's me, your couch. Today's my favorite day of the week. Febreze Fabric Spray Day. The occasional deep cleans are nice, but in between, you know I'm needing a refresh. Ooh, here she comes with the Febreze Fabric Spray. Oh yeah, spritz them armrests. Don't be shy. Nothing like a good spray down to get me smelling so fresh and clean. Don't forget my back. Nice. Febreze Fabric Spray. It's just that easy. Now we can both breathe happy. Febreze. La 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 la.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure that you'll get your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
And Jackson Hewitt also guarantees the accuracy of your return for life.
Hewitt!
So don't just sit there. For your biggest refund guaranteed, walk into a Jackson Hewitt today and dance out Jackson Hewitt! Yeah!
At Granger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Nothing says I love you like romantic, timeless jewelry. Even better when you can save an extra 20%. Right now at Diamonds Direct, all fashion favorite jewelry is 20% off. That's earrings, bracelets, pendants, bands, colored gemstone jewelry. Get 20% off Diamonds Direct's already unbeatable prices. Special financing too. Get her something she can enjoy and appreciate for years to come. A fashion favorite from Diamonds Direct. Shop in-store or online at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. People who suffer from arthritis are getting real pain relief with exciting biologic therapies at QC Kinetics.
The success rate is there, and there's no better way to treat yourself when it comes to dealing with pain.
Meet Tyler Vale, co-founder of QC Kinetics, who says they can't cure arthritis, but they can treat the pain.
If you think of the tide coming in and out on the beach and what it does, it erodes the sand, right? Can't stop the tide, but eventually when the sand or the beach gets bad enough, and we backfill that beach with sand so that we get generations of enjoyment with that beach again. And the same thing happens with your knee or your shoulder or your hip or your back. We want to backfill the problems that have happened to this point. I'm not stopping the tide, so I'm not stopping the arthritis, but I want to get generations of enjoyment out of those joints again.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. Learn more about how restorative biologic therapies can get you real and lasting joint pain relief.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for the Aggies. San Antonio's Sports Center.
And the NFL, get your passport. They're headed to Brazil. It was announced yesterday. The Philadelphia Eagles will be playing the inaugural game in Sao Paulo, Brazil on Friday, opening weekend next season. And other NFL news, the Cowboys have the help wanted sign hanging out, looking for a defensive coordinator. Mike Zimmer and Ron Rivera front and center. We'll find out and talk about it next.
How good do you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, it's the Professor and Morty. It's 94.1. Huddle up. We got something to talk about. This is the Morning Huddle. He is RJ Ochoa, the managing editor for Blogging the Boys. I'm Rob Thompson, the Professor-in-Chief, and we are live from Media Row here in Las Vegas. It is time for the big game. We're here thanks to AA Best Bail Bonds, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. If you haven't tried the hot honey, go get it. And Synergenics. Busy hour. We got Brian Billick going to be around the corner here in about an hour and a half. Cowboys looking for a defensive coordinator and all that goes along with that. Jerry said he was busy. He was busy yesterday at 9. So he's already interviewed Zimmer and Will.
The Zimmer interview is reportedly happening today. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero tweeted it out like 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
So, yeah. Get hyped. Get pumped. I'm not. So
you're about the only one left.
I'm fine with that, dude. I'm sorry that I'm not just, folding like all of y'all and like, oh, this is going to be super cool. I'm so tired of being mad at the Cowboys. I'm ready to be excited again.
Well, I don't think there's any excitement. I think it's more of an acceptance of the boat is sinking. And we're going to in an orderly manner, exit. We're all going to orderly and line up.
See what this is
and
like.
Get on the boats and the rafts.
This is like when you're leaving the cruise and they have to do it in the like zones or whatever.
We're going
to waiting forever.
We're just going to slowly exit this sinking ship, and this is just part of it. He is just going to expedite the exodus that is coming in a year. And I think if you look at it like this and go, hey, if we all know we're going to die, and if we act and live like there's no tomorrow, maybe a miracle can happen. Maybe there will be an expendable situation.
Why not say, instead of all that, we don't have to die? Why, you know what I mean? Why not say, let's try to
eat, drink, and be merry. For tomorrow we die. I mean, the end is nigh, man. We all can see it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Why not end it and move on?
Well, there is that. And that is the ongoing rub, right? I mean, 2 weeks ago, we could have begun the process of just ripping the Band-Aid off and firing the coach and exiting the quarterback and saying, we are erasing this slate. But yeah, that's not going to happen.
I don't have an extensive knowledge of like different types of battle or beliefs in that sense. But like, it feels like you're one of those, like, I don't know an example of this, but soldiers who's like, okay, I'm going to end it right here instead of going, whatever. Like, I'm going to end it with my own honor. You know what I mean? Like the charge is coming on. I'm just going to take matters in my own hands.
I'm going down with the ship.
No, but like you're taking yourself down.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like a self-execution type of thing. Like, well, this is over. We've had a good run. See y'all later. Peace.
Well, at least
I'm saying like, hey, it's 50 against 1, but like, let's be the one. You know what I mean? Let's take a stand.
Well, I think that's the plan. They're taking us. It's a last stand. They're planting their toes right on the cliff. I mean, one more step and they go over the other side.
Goldfinger 1, 2, 3 says in the Brigade Bar, taking the easy way out. This is such the easy way out. I guess we'll just hang out.
It's the easy, but it's the much more painful.
Do you know how much life we have to live between now and the search next year? We have to literally live through a whole rodeo road trip. We have to live through Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, the NCAA tournament, the Masters, the entire NBA playoffs, which lasts like 4 years in the span of 3 months. We have to live through all of summer and the heat, the Little League World Series, the Olympics. We have to go through an entire football season, college and NFL, the entire baseball season and World Series. We have to live all of this life, Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthdays, and then all pop champagne on the new year, 2025, just to reach ground zero.
This ain't our first rodeo. We've done it before.
Y'all are lame.
It is, and you've reached that point of frustration that many have reached. You talked about, sometimes you just need to take a breath, and I think all of us have written the Cowboys obituary. We've written it. We're just waiting to pull it out. It's in prep.
It didn't have to be like this, though.
The patient is expectant. Now, and is in hospice care now. The Cowboys, as we know them, are on hospice.
Oh, man,
we are just waiting for the lingering death to finally come and take care of it. And what we've done is just put a couple of Band-Aids on it. I mean, Zimmer is nothing more than that.
Gilberto says in the Brigade Bar, Dallas feels like the DeMar DeRozan Spurs. That is such a horrible truth.
An appropriate analogy, because we're waiting at the bus stop. We're just waiting for the next bus. I mean, we ain't going anywhere. There's no rush.
Who's Mike McCarthy's Chicago? Is there even one?
No. There's not.
So Jason Garrett was Kawhi?
Yes.
Wow. I guess that checks.
Well, I mean, for different reasons, but yes. There's this, I think you did kind of hit on a thread of Cowboy fandom that you run into, because we get the opportunity to run into guys from Dallas and around the country. That thread of, oh, well, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Oh, well, this is what it is. McCarthy's coming back. Dak's going to come back and play just good enough. MVP level, touchdowns to interception ratio through the roof, QBR up in the top 5, to where we again have to debate whether he should be paid long time. He's going to do that again. We know it's coming. Nothing going to change there.
Makes me sad.
And we will be having this very same conversation with a new hot OC next year, the next coach possibility. McCarthy's going to do just good enough to go, you know what? We won 12 games.
You know what, Rob? It doesn't have to be this way. You can stand up and say you want things to be different. Right now, you're getting dragged to the quinceañera. Okay, we'll go. We'll eat the plate. I'll do the dollar dance. We'll hang out, and then we'll try to duck out about 11. No, just be honest. Be vocal. Say again. We could have been on the first steps towards a new. It didn't have to be this way.
Well, we hope that Jerry might pull a rabbit out of his hat and give us. We talked a couple of weeks ago. Are we going to get the carrot? Is he going to do something to get us enthused again? Are we waiting for something that'll just knock our socks off? Because it ain't going to be the DC hire. It's not. That's not going to be it. So what is it going to be if he's going to offer something to keep us at least moderately, apart from being annoyed and the reason we pay attention, at least moderately interested into what the next step's going to be?
We're early in the week. And Stephon Diggs has not been around. I thought he would be a carrot that would, be an option. But I mean, I'm sorry. I'm struggling with the juxtaposition of we're all in, which was what he said a week ago. We're going to be all in on 2024. This is the all in, Rob. This is the all. Here's Mike Zimmer. We're all in.
Buy into us.
I'm selling so hard.
They're a championship team without the title, and
we have established
the
championship program. It's just not the world championship yet.
They just make it so easy for people to make fun of them.
Okay, well, now we're hiring the DC obviously matters, and there's some questions going on the side of the defense, and we talked about Diggs and there's Micah Parsons rumors running everywhere, whether he's a good teammate, bad teammate, working hard, working not. And that's a product of losing, is what it is, and a product of a boisterous. And I think there's somewhere in the middle with Micah. But as far as bringing in a coach, bringing in something to enthuse you, don't you need to go get somebody to motivate or at least keep your stars happy?
Well, that's not Mike Zimmer.
Well, is it? Maybe it is.
No, it's not. That's his whole reputation as being a hard ass. You know what I mean? Well,
maybe in our mind that might be a necessity given the situation that we saw. We complained a fair amount about the looseness, the inattention to detail, the lack of any kind of ramifications for error. Sam Williams continues to take out entire games and teams with the stupid penalties, but he's still lined up.
Ultra Cowboy says in the Brigade Bar that Patrick Queen will be a part of the Golden Care. There's no way Baltimore's letting him leave. We can ask Brian Billick. I know he doesn't make the decisions, but Brian Billick's going to say, if Patrick Queen is not a Raven, I will riot. There's no way that the Cowboys.
Well, that would be the kind of carrot we're looking for.
It would, but that I think we're lying to ourselves if we're talking about carrots, because they're not going to do anything to jeopardize 2025 because they need an escape hatch. You know what I'm saying? They can't set themselves up poorly for a new era with a new coach next year. So the idea that they're going to spin big in free agency just seems really far-fetched to me. I just don't buy it. There's literally no reason, no legitimate, logical reason to buy it. The only reason is hope. Hope. That's it.
Buy into
From zero to
golly, man, that was the most depressing thing that any human being has ever said. I mean, what a sad way to go about it. Please believe us. We're sorry.
And the answer is Mike Zimmer.
That's the all in, dude. I mean, seriously. I mean, that is the all in. That's the first opportunity they had to make him. And I've been saying it. My issue isn't even necessarily with Mike Zimmer. It's with, you have to cast a wider net. You have to look at more options. You have to do legitimate work. You cannot just pick two dudes who are retreads, former head coaches, who are buddies of yours, to even and say, oh, well, we interviewed multiple people. We satisfied all the rules. We're good. We found our guy. Again, if you perform an exhaustive search, if you do all the work, if you figure things out, and you come to the conclusion that Mike Zimmer is the best option for you, I can live with that. I can square that in my mind. But you cannot tell me you're all, like, forget the Mike Zimmer of it all. You can't tell me you're all in and then consider two external resources. You can't. That's not being all in. That's being half-assed. That's all it is. You're not all. It's half.
I saw the DC that the Giants brought in. I don't know who he is.
Wow, he must be a loser.
Well, what I'm saying is, if I think there would be equal if Jerry took 10 days and said, you know, I'm hiring like the hire that Tampa did, a guy that's been in the league for 2 years and been. I think there would be equal anger at Jerry if he went and got a young hot coach and you go, what? We need somebody experienced who's been there and knows. Not. I think there's sometimes that Jerry paints himself into a place where he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't.
Again, that's his fault.
It is. But as a fan, I got to understand the situation that he finds himself. It's your fault, and you painted yourself into the corner. But I will give you this: given where you are, this is probably the best option. I think that's a lot of us as Cowboy fans. I go, given where you put yourself, at least this decision isn't as bad as the decision that got you to this point. At least you're starting to work your way in another direction, because Zimmer's not a loser. He's a winning coach.
Again, you're arguing with a different point.
I know what you're saying, due diligence. I've accepted the fact that he said, oh, Quinn's gone. I know two names.
I mean, what if you said, you know what, RJ, you got to go get a job. I'm tired of carrying you, man. You got to go get a job. I said, Rob, I went and I looked for an hour. And there's nothing out there. That's exactly what this is. You know what I mean? Like, do more work. I mean, like, do some work. The Zimmer thing isn't even doing some work. It's just like, well, we know him. He's had the job before. He was good at it.
But isn't that enough given the situation?
No. What do you mean isn't that enough? Like, you're in need of a new shirt. You're going to say, well, that one in my closet from 17 years ago worked. I guess I'll wear that to the quinceañera tonight.
Well, it'll work. I mean, it'll get me there. That is the level that we sit. And I think Jerry's like, all right, let's spread this mayonnaise thing. This is going to be a long and awful year. And when Zimmer leaves, it will not even make a ripple in my life. But right now, I'm going to have to deal with it.
I want to address 2 points from the Brigade Bar, if you'll allow me.
Let's address the bar.
So Miggy V1203 says, by the way, this is why everybody should subscribe to the SA Sports Star YouTube channel, pay the like tax, turn on the notifications. We love the Noti gang. Rob's coming up with a hand signal for y'all when they won't offend people. Anyway, Miggy V1203 says this is the same way that they wound up with McCarthy in the first place. It's who they are at this point. We are the dopes for expecting a different result or process.
Exactly.
I would offer that the dopes are also the people who are convincing themselves that the process isn't flawed, that they're saying like, oh, this is totally it, RJ. How come you're not on board? Just because you get to the right result potentially doesn't justify the process, which is what I'm criticizing. But beyond that, Ultra Cowboy, not trying to call you out, but Ultra Cowboy said first, Spagnuolo was a retread, and here he is about to win back-to-back Super Bowls. Okay, that's fine. But
great point.
But it's a great point. But if I asked you to rank the 5 reasons why the Chiefs are about to win.
Oh, yeah.
Is Steve Spagnuolo in your top 5?
He should be.
Hang on. So the next one of the other comments from Ultra Cowboy was the worst decision is believing in a quarterback that can't produce in the playoffs. So how can you say, that Zimmer's fine because he's a retread because he's like Steve Spagnuolo, and then say, well, Dak Prescott can't produce in the playoffs? If you're arguing for the retread of the Spagnuolo, arc, then you have to believe that Dak is equivalent to Patrick Mahomes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. You're there.
And so, like, you can't criticize Dak and be like, oh, well, this works just the way Steve Spagnuolo works. Steve Spagnuolo works for the Chiefs because he's amazing, but also because Patrick Mahomes makes everything work for the Chiefs.
I think that if it goes the way I expect it to go, and Zimmer's
if it goes the way you expect it to go, I'm going to vomit all over this table.
Especially with another cup of coffee and some more cheddar biscuits or crackers. If it goes the way I expect, Zimmer's going to come on in a 2-year deal, not going to get paid much. McCarthy's going to coach out we are at the end. It's just a slower end than you want.
But it doesn't have to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to sit here and watch the grains of sand drop down the hourglass. We can flip it up.
But no, we can't.
We can't.
We're gonna have, no matter what happens.
We can't, but they can.
With that.
We can't, but they could have said, you know what? I know that there's some grains in the hourglass, but we want to hit the reset button.
Okay, so they fire McCarthy.
Okay,
and Dan Quinn leaves. So you're sitting here with Dak at the end of his time with the Cowboys, probably.
Okay.
I just can't. So, but there's still just a transition year. This year, what are you going to do? Retool in one?
No,
year?
but at least you have the new head coach who's able to assess Dak in that situation and say, I want him as a part of the future. I don't want him as a part of the future. As opposed to what if you don't get something done with Dak and the new head coach says, I love Dak? Or what if you do get something done with Dak and the new head coach says, I don't want Dak? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're continuing to paint yourself into a different corner in the future once you are forced out of this corner.
But if this plays the way that I think he's looking at, he could be sitting here this time next year in New Orleans watching Philadelphia go to the Super Bowl, whatever it might be, with a completely blank slate. He could be coming in next year with no quarterback, no head coach, no nothing. And I think that's where he's headed. I think he expects this time next year, all of these things are going to be gone. So I'm just going to get a one-year deal with Zimmer and tell him not to unpack.
And every part of everything that this is.
I mean, that's why we get up at 2 a.m. every morning.
For hatred.
Keep RJ there. Hey, we're glad you're with us today. Make sure you're following us on the socials and paying the proper like tax. The Spurs are hitting the streets. They're going to be in Miami to start a long rodeo road trip. What can be garnered from being away from home with a bunch of kids? Sounds like a lot of fun, right? Pop on the road with a young basketball team in turmoil. Or is it? All-Star break's coming, but the Spurs got a game tomorrow night. We're looking at the silver and black. What's Devin to do, and what do we expect from Wemby as he hits the road for the long roadie? Hold on tight. More to come. This is the Morning Huddle. Use Morty. I'm the professor, and you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Sports Star boys are in Vegas for the big game.
Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Robin, RJ, and Jason and Joe are in Sin City and Radio Row for the big game, with security provided by AA Best Bail Bonds.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll all get drunk and
Woo!
I think you gonna get away with it. Not up in here.
Not up in here.
Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Synergenex, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Now is the best time to buy a Connecticut water softener. With current models being closed out to make way for the new ones, you can save big. Call Connecticut at 656-PURE and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you. That's 656-PURE.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
My name is Jessica. Years ago, I was diagnosed with a thyroid condition. I slept all the time, was fatigued, had no energy, and a bad attitude. Now I've lost 50 pounds and I'm still losing. My medications have been scaled back, my emotions are stable, and I have lots of energy. People at work say I'm happy, perky, and my husband says he's not walking on eggshells around me any longer. The Institute for Functional Health changed my life.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
God, I'm so stressed. It's a brand new year and our business is busier than ever.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Uma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Uma?
Yep. Switching to Uma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Uma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Uma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids gummies help relieve occasional stomach upsets. turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids gummies. Fast support for little tummies.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass. Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just call 800-NEW-WINDOWS for your free consultation on top quality, affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Call 800-NEW-WINDOWS right now. Don't wait. Call 800-NEW-WINDOWS. 800-NEW-WINDOWS.
This is Rob Thompson. I'm here with my brother, Jason, a practicing attorney in San Antonio for 30 years. Jason, what does that mean?
What it means is I've been representing people and families here in San Antonio injured in auto, truck, motorcycle collisions, serious injury, death accidents, taking those families and helping them through some of the worst times of their life. I've been practicing law in San Antonio for so long. I remember when the Cowboys were champions.
Seriously.
And a great staff that handles kind of the blocking and tackling of what it takes to represent clients. There are so many phone calls that need to be made, so many connections you have to have between insurance companies, physicians, opposing lawyers, relationships that you build over 30 years with adjusters, with insurance companies, with defense attorneys, with local judges. When I represent a client, they know that I'm lending my name, my reputation built on 30 years of experience to that client to get them justice.
It's Jason Thompson, alawyer4us.com. Call him at 210-900-0400, alawyer4us.com.
It's Rob and RJ, live from Radio Row for Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas.
It's the Morning Huddle. RJ Ochoa, Rob Thompson, otherwise known as Morty. I don't think that's going to stick. Big Fudge tried to assign that to you. That's the Blitz gets going today at 2 o'clock. They're chock full of guests. We got Brian Billick just around the corner.
We got a big show tomorrow.
We're excited for what as the row starts to pick up in volume. The guests that we have scheduled are really going to start leaning, and then you got the guys that are just kind of roaming the sidewalks looking to talk.
It's I know this is shocking. There's not a lot of guests rolling around at 4 a.m.
No, really not. Although we did see Peter King. He's roaming around, but he's getting up probably doing his crossword puzzle. And
how awake are you on a scale of 1 to 10 right now?
I'm pretty good.
Could you do a somersault?
I could probably do a cartwheel and a somersault.
Put that on the bingo card. If you do a somersault,
no, I'm going to try to get home injury free. So far, so good.
Wow.
I haven't suffered too many.
Coward.
Too many.
Coward, I said.
Although I've run some calluses in there, I'm going to, on our phones, you have those health apps. I'm going to take a picture of the steps that I'm going to take this week.
Why?
And use that as my memory of this Super Bowl. When I look back, I'm going to remember the sheer miles that we accrued just getting through security.
Sarah Bareilles has a song called Many the Miles. It kind of sounds like that's your anthem right now.
What, Many the Mile?
Many the Miles. Sarah Bareilles. What's your favorite Sarah Bareilles song?
That one.
I wouldn't go there.
I don't even know who that is.
You don't know who Sarah Bareilles is?
I know. I might.
Oh my gosh! Get the hell out of here! Read a book. I mean,
a purple Toyota Tacoma.
No.
Can that be one? Is that something that's available to be had? Because it's going to be difficult to sell a purple pickup.
Don't throw us off the scent that you don't know who Sarah Bareilles is.
I don't. I probably know the music, but I don't feel bad that I don't.
Wow. She has one of the greatest voices that any human being has ever had.
I feel sad that I've missed out. Does our morning brigade, are they fans?
Well, they can let us know in the brigade bar whether or not they've heard of Sarah Bareilles and offer their favorite tune. I would offer King of Anything, I Choose You, Brave.
How many days away from the trade deadline are we?
Dose.
2 days away. As the Spurs pack up to head to Miami for the road trip. They leave with several seasoned veterans on expiring contracts that may or may not return. If I said, do you expect to see Chetty Osman as a Spur when they return at the end of February.
Chetty is gone. He had his audition last week in my mind.
And it looks like that's a guy that's going to help somebody. I would say that the Spurs, if he is not moved,
Chetty's going to have a big time 3 in a playoff game for something.
Yeah, and if he's not moved, it's because the Spurs turned it down. That there are offers here, and I think McDermott is probably on some people's lists to go get something done. And it's an interesting situation to find as these guys are. It's 10 wins and it's getting ugly at home. I mean, there's a lot of us are upset and tired of the situation, much like with the Cowboys, and asking questions that haven't been asked in 25 or 30 years, looking at things that have just been kind of taken for granted for a long time, that there's some, from the front office to the coach, this is not a comfortable time to be a Spur fan. So that's why this rodeo road trip, I think, is hitting at the right time, because Pop gets an opportunity to put these guys in a bubble and kind of reinvent who the Spurs are, and probably more importantly, reinvent who the Spurs think they are. And that's two different things. And I think that who they think they are ain't who they are.
Gilberto says, I'm a fan of Sarah Bareilles in the Brigade Bar.
I'm glad that Gilberto is.
But who do you think they are? I'm sorry. Who do you think they think they are?
I think the Spurs view themselves as this young trio. Well, several guys view themselves as a trio or a duo, and they are not. There is a top to this pyramid. There is not a floor. There is a point.
I see what's happening here. You are, is it Simon Cowell? That's the notable judge?
Yes.
You're Simon Cowell, and this is like one of the shows, right? Mm-hmm. Like America's Got Talent or whatever. And this group has come in, and you've identified one of you's got a set of pipes, but you're not.
One of you is Harry Styles.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, Rob, well done.
Yes,
okay,
the pop culture references don't escape. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Didn't know Sarah Bareilles. Okay, you've got Harry Styles.
And we got Harry Styles.
There's a bona fide global sensation in your group. And you got 4 backups.
And the other dude keeps trying to sing the solo.
Yeah.
We got the other dude with the non-funny hair trying to sing the solo, and Devin Vassell. And Harry Styles is going to have to be Harry.
Devin, what if I sang the bridge?
See, that's no, Devin. You are a backup singer. You just stand behind him and you snap your fingers. And when he turns at you, you get to step in and say "doo-wah" and step back out and let him hold the mic. And we have gotten to this point where Pop has led these guys to believe that they are a trio, that they are a band instead of a lead singer and backup musicians. That's what the Spurs are.
No, I agree with you. And you know what, Devin? Occasionally, on the final note of the bridge, we're going to need somebody to drop a whoa.
Every now and then, you're going to get one.
Exactly. But for the most part, the people are buying the tickets. They're coming to see our shows in Brazil, in Westchester, in Corpus Christi, wherever. They're coming for the front man. They're coming for him. They are not coming to hear you jump in front. We're going to line up in a V, and he's going to be the very front and center. You're going to be off on the sides.
Yes, man. And every now and again, like when you go to see a show and the lead singer got to go take a drink, and ladies and gentlemen, Devin Vassell on the bass, and he goes takes drinks, and you get to go you take a couple of shots, and guess what? Then you hand it back. You give it back and let the lead singer take it.
By the way, your reference of doo-wop, is this a Motown group, or I
still got the Greatest Night in Pop video on my mind with Quincy Jones orchestrating. But the analogy is appropriate, and I think the way that Pop has let it get here, I do get that we're all learning. I mean, there's nothing.
No, we're not learning.
We are learning.
No, we're not. We're not learning in February.
Well, no, there you go. And that's the problem. And I think Pop gave too much rope, gave too much leeway with all these young, and said, we're getting it. And if wins ain't the thing, then I no longer am burdened by the fact that I have to coach to a win tonight. And all I need to worry about is if I think this little aspect of their game got better and there's no long-term rubric to show where we are, we didn't get anywhere.
I think you're giving Pop to say he gave too much rope. It's actually giving him too much credit, because to say he gave too much rope would imply that this was a calculated decision. I think there's just a level of indifference. I think there's a level of yeah, I'm here and I love this and it's all the same, but like it just is not possible on a human level for him to have the same passion. It would be impossible for anyone. You know what I'm saying? Like this isn't a part of like Pop's not going to coach Wemby for 25 years. You know what I'm saying? And so like it's just a matter of, I wouldn't say going through the motions, but it's closer to that. Again, to say he gave him too much rope is to, like I'm saying, imply that this was a legitimate plan. You know what I mean? That there was foresight behind this, and that they said the plan is we're gonna let Devin run the show, and Wemby's gonna be the best. Wemby's gonna snap his fingers, and Wemby's gonna
grow into this superstar.
Yeah, no,
and you just like Tim did, just like David did, and that's the only experience I had personally.
I'm so sick of that though.
David stepped in, Tim stepped in, and we're immediately kind of the guys they were, and David allowed Tim.
Dude,
to be
I'm
that.
sorry, Rob, but Wemby is not Tim Duncan reincarnated. He's not David Robinson reincarnated. We can play games at the Alamo Dome. We can have the Fiesta colored jerseys. We're not here to relive the old times. Stop getting your high school Letterman jacket out and go into the 30-year reunion.
But I will
get in the new, not you, but like get in the new times. This is a new era. You can be great in a new and different way.
But the way Pop handled it, I think he was trying to figure out how to handle this 18-year-old European superstar who's had a magnifying glass on him since he was 12. I mean, you literally are bringing in not only the future of this franchise, but the future of the league, this billion-dollar worldwide entity. And I can understand you're kind of going, kid gloves, first and foremost, is the guy happy? I mean, I don't care about wins, losses. Is Victor happy to come to work every morning? Is everybody happy? And then I start worrying about, is he happy with his team? Is he happy with his guys? I get why Pop treated him with the kid gloves that he did, but I think he also expected, like many of us apply, that he's going to be Tim, that he's going to be David, and he's going to step into that void.
That's
and
so
might
stupid.
Not demand it. But no, it's not stupid, because there are certain traits that superstars have that you get that way because of these activities.
You have to stop trying to live within the Spurs culture of it all. And I'm not saying dismiss that. I'm not saying like, don't pay homage to the past. I'm not saying let go of corporate knowledge and all these things, but it cannot be the same. It cannot. It cannot. You have to modernize and get with the times. I mean, you cannot treat him the way you treated Tim, or the way pick the superstar has ever been treated. It's a different time. I mean, these are different players. This is a different generation.
When the Spurs were great in their last iteration, the term "good to better, better to best" was the mantra for Spurs fans. When it started, we were built, not bought. By the end of that run, it was good to better, better to best. They had become the beautiful game. They had become this 5-pointed amoebic single thing that they were all working together, and it was a beautiful thing to watch.
Of course.
But now there ain't no such thing. It is Wemby. There ain't no symbiotic relationship. There is no good to better, better to best. There is good to Wemby. That's it. There's no from Wemby to best. It is good to Wemby. That's the best shot 80% of the time. And let him decide at that moment whether he should take that shot or not.
I recognize that that's uncomfortable and a deviation from the Spurs way.
Everything Pop has coached opposite. It is a photo negative of Pop's coaching style. That is.
Okay, but the best, I'm certainly not implying that Pop is not among the best, NBA or just coaches
style.
in general. But like, the best coaches, the best coaching jobs are done when you adapt to the circumstances. You're not trying at this point to fit Wemby into the Spurs culture. You're trying to create a new culture around him. And that culture doesn't have to look the same next year as it does this, or 2 years from now, or 3 years from now, or a decade from now. Right now, the culture needs to be everything thriving around him. The band behind him has said. And if in the future you get a Trae Young, or you get a whoever, you get Bronny and LeBron or whatever, then all of a sudden the beautiful game kind of comes back a little bit. But you're not fit to do that. And so you're just destroying everything in the process of trying to be something that you're not, in the name of being who the franchise has been forever. That's silly. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's, there's new music out there, Rob. Sarah Bareilles is there. You don't have to just listen to Natasha Bedingfield all the time.
Well, Natasha's got her own personal stuff. I think of the great coaches in the past, and I think of, when I think of Riley, I think it's Riley and Magic. And I think, of course, you think of Jordan and Phil. I mean, it's just this tandem, and I think of this And Pop needs to be, it doesn't need to be Pop in the Spurs. It needs to be Pop and Wemby now. That's the only two I should think about together. Everybody else is secondary. Everything that Wemby does is about him, and everything Pop does is about Wemby. And I think if that focus was there.
Is it even about Pop and Wemby? Like,
it needs to be, whoever the head coach is in Wemby, there needs to be a hierarchy of these are the Spurs, and this guy is number one important when he gets off the bus, when he gets into practice, so everybody, even the players, know when the shot comes, you ain't taking it.
I understand, and I agree with you, but Wemby's going to play throw out a number. His NBA career will span
10 years. It's not the modern NBA type. We'll say 15 years.
Let's call it 15 years.
Yeah.
The significant majority will be coached by someone other than Pop.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not Pop and Wemby. It's Wemby.
Right. No, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're truly building for the future, then you have to have an eye towards that. For the longest time, rightfully so, justifiably so, not at all, disrespecting what the Spurs have done, who they've been, what they've built, how they've succeeded, et cetera, et cetera. But for the longest time, it's been Pop and the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a crew, it was a family show, it was a family product, and that's what has made it so special. But you have to adapt. You have to adjust. You have to, learn the new circumstances, and you have to accept that the future, one future of this organization, and it is Wemby. And Pop can certainly help him get there, but he has to adapt to the times, and he could not prioritize or allow Devin Vassell to prioritize himself over Wemby in critical moments. It just cannot be that way.
Last game, he went the last 7 minutes to close, against the Pelicans. To close
that was 2 games ago, right?
That was winnable. Victor
winnable against a good team,
7 minutes to close the
game
without taking a shot. That when we look back on how this season got here, that game turned. That game changed a lot of opinion.
We could have if Wemby gets that final shot and misses it, damn.
We clap our hands and say incremental growth.
Yeah.
You did what you were supposed to do. That is when we start. When we see a guy not only take an ill-advised shot, but defend it in the locker room, that tells me there's so much more.
If he had taken that shot and he missed, and you're Pop or you're speaking, you're saying, hey man, the game was on the line. We put the ball in our best player's hands, and it didn't work our way, but we can live with that.
That kind of situation kind of really opened the eyes, I think, to a lot of Spurs fans, where we realize we're halfway through this season and this team has no idea who they are or where they're going. Now, we do know where they're going. They're hitting the rodeo road trip and going to be gone for a month. And our Silver and Black, we do it on the regular basis. So we do it every day at 7. Make sure you're liking us, subscribing to the Silver and Black podcast so you know exactly what's going on. We are live here at Radio Row, but the NBA continues to percolate, and the ramifications of Joel Embiid's exits continue to kind of play. And as we're over on the West Coast, there's a lot coming out of LA regarding LeBron James that I don't expect, but it wouldn't shock if a deal the likes of which we never thought we'd see could occur. LeBron James getting traded?
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't think it's even to comprehend that the balance of power will truly shift. We have Brian Billick around the corner at 9:30. We're going to come back looking at the Dallas Cowboys as their coaching search continues, and look around a Radio Row as it starts to percolate, and the lifeblood that is the Media Row, the guests that are circulating as well. There's a cast of characters all over the place. Did you know that you can find a certified transitional strategist, and we're going to strategize our transition next. Thanks for hanging around with us today. This is the Morning Huddle. He is Morty. I am the professor, otherwise known as Rob Thompson, and RJ Ochoa. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas, with plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Jason Minix here. Guys, your testosterone levels start to decline in your 30s. If you're feeling a lack of energy and drive, it could be caused by low T. Get your levels tested at Synergenics. They make it quick and easy, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll get your results back at your first visit. At Synergenics, you will get customized care from testosterone specialists. Conquer your New Year's resolutions. Go to fixmylowt.com to book online. That's fixmylowt.com. If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online, mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at gawon'twait.com. That's gawon'twait.com.
O'Reilly. You need parts? O'Reilly Auto Parts has parts. Need them fast? We've got fast. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Good morning, everybody. Jason Minix here from the Blitz, starting at 2 o'clock today, day 2 from Radio Row in Las Vegas. Of course, we'll have all our thoughts and sound from NFL opening night from the stadium last night. Plus, we'll talk with Laura Oakham, who will be on the sidelines for Sunday's big game, and Sean Merriman. He will join us as well at 3:15. Rob, are you on board with Mort as a good nickname for RJ here on the Morning Huddle?
Mort here, and I don't like the nickname Mort. I love it. It's Mort, the professor, the Morning Huddle on San Antonio Sports Star. Do you like the name Mort, Rob?
Not on you.
Okay.
Mort doesn't fit you. You're not old enough for you. You're Morte. You grow into Mort. Mort's a guy that has a tweed coat on, some kind of strange hat, and has some torn up gambling tickets in the right pocket of his tattered tweed jacket. That's Mort. You're not that guy. This is the Morning Huddle. We're huddled up around Mort and the professor and all the likes. Yesterday we had the strangest opportunity. RJ is a nice guy. RJ is a well-regarded guy. People come up to RJ. You hang out with Joe Reinagle in San Antonio, and you can't walk 10 feet. You get into the digital world of sports, and you can't walk 10 feet without RJ. And RJ talks to everybody. Yesterday, as we were walking around the media row, we were assaulted by a booker.
Well, so the way this happens is there are people around here who are representing, talent and talent of different walks. Obviously, this is the Super Bowl, and so people are pushing and promoting different things, as we've talked about. And Rob and I we're going to take a lap. We hadn't taken a lap around the center yet, and we had gotten 12 steps out. I mean,
we're still right here.
And so we were 12 steps out, and somebody just I've got to give them credit for having some confidence. I mean, somebody just walks up and is like, "Hey." And
you look like you need to talk to somebody or something like that. So RJ just stopped and we kind of stand there. And
I was talking to a friend of mine, Walt.
Oh, that's where it happened.
And we were kind of stuck talking to him, and then they approached the three of us.
We got the elevator pitch from a booker with she had 3 of her clients, and they're doing something there with former athletes.
We never learned quite what it was.
It was the biggest 20 minutes of technical jargon and keywords with no roundabout, but we couldn't. The problem was she wanted to get her clients on our radio show. She wanted to come and let them allow to come and talk to us. There was no way that was going to happen, but we were too polite to say no. So I said, you know what? It would be great. You just need to find my booker because my schedule, I have no idea how to handle it. And we sent her on her way, but watching RJ try to get himself out of a conversation just to walk away from something that you knew was going to be fruitless for both, but she was doing her job in front of her clients and just stand there and listen.
Yeah, it was really
ridiculous.
I don't like to be rude, and it was really uncomfortable to just kind of sit there because she also was really, confident is the word I would use, and didn't really allow us. In fact, one of her clients said something, and you just said something like, "Oh, that's nice," or "Oh, that's cool," and she said, "That warrants an interview." And we were kind of like, whoa,
no, it doesn't.
Let's slow down. Let's relax. Let's all take a deep breath. And
so one of the persons, one guy was talking about how he takes former athletes and tries to put them in situations to get in the media. Okay, I get it. You're coaching them up. And then that led to another girl. And then we had one. And one is, I am a transitional, what was her title?
A transitional strategist.
A transitional strategist. So RJ goes, oh, so what do you do? And
No. She said, I'm a transitional strategist. I bet you're wondering what that means.
And we go, no, but yes, go ahead and explain to us. And guess what she said.
Okay, so this is honestly, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, almost verbatim, and I'm trying to whisper this because I don't know where they are. But she said, I'm a transitional strategist, and I bet you're wondering what that means. I strategize with the transition of things. That is exactly what we were told. I mean, we're not inflating that. It was literally exactly like that.
I am a transitional strategist. I strategize transitions. All right. Well, with that in mind, we can't wait to have you on our air and do what you do. That's just part of what's headed our way. What was the craziest thing you saw last night? Because we used to see some crazy things at the opening night. You'd see guys dressed up as characters.
There was a cast last night. You might have been in the restroom. I was talking to Joe about it. A cast of people in some colorful outfits, but they looked like, I don't know what show they were representing or dressed like, but there was like 6 people all in a coordinated effort.
I saw a guy in some kind of white suit running around with palm trees on it.
They really weren't. You're right. Like
normally there's the attempt to be outrageous, to draw the attention of the player, but also to draw the attention of the thousands of cameras that are there. And it wasn't that.
How did you word the question? The most outrageous thing I saw?
Mm-hmm.
The most outrageous thing I saw, to be very so we walked a lot, as we've just said. We've just explained.
We will air our grievances at 9:15.
And we're going to ask Brian Billick for a grievance too. But so we walked a lot, and we had to walk a lot to get some food at the media night. And thank you, Las Vegas Super Bowl committee for providing the food for us. But it was really dark how we got the food. It was through kind of a buffet line, and they had some carnitas, and they had this, that, and the other. And Rob and I were together. We kind of loaded up our plates because we actually got stopped by somebody else elevator pitching us. So we get our food, load up our plate. And we both sat down to eat, and I went to the restroom real quick, and I came back, and I did the same thing that Rob did. I thought that there were chicken wings.
They appeared to be chicken wings.
They were the size of, they were a little bit smaller, but kind of like an event
and
style
they looked like they'd been dry rub roasted.
Right. They were really dark brown. And so I held it with my fingers like on either side and took a bite in the middle, and it just like flapped.
There was no bone.
Flopped. And I thought, like, what kind of wing is this? And I said,
it was kind of sweet.
And I said it out loud. I said, what kind of, wing did they serve us? And Jason goes, that's a plantain. And he said, Rob just did the same thing.
I think you need to say that again. At the Super Bowl media party, they served the media plantains. Now, I'm a Mofongo fan. I'm down. I like it.
I don't like any food
but
like
it's
that.
about the plantains in a buffet line at a Super Bowl media. Plantains.
Oh, look, I think a good rule of thumb for stuff like this, events or your mass catering, especially to sports
is
people.
not on the list.
No, that's what I'm saying. You have to treat sports people, whether it's writers, media, television, radio, whatever, you have to treat them like children. Chicken tenders, fries, hamburgers, hot dogs, pizza. We're happier than pigs in mud. You know what I mean? We don't need anything beyond that. But it was very strange. And some of it, again, was that it was dark where we were eating. So you couldn't quite tell, but it looked exactly like a chicken wing.
But there was no corresponding dish with the plantain.
Right, yeah. Well,
if we were having some sort of Puerto Rican or Caribbean meal,
it was like
and
mango
plantains were there, you go, there, of course.
There's like a bottle of
it's
vinegar.
Like going through right in the middle, right on one side is sausages and fajita meat. On the other side is nachos, and right in the middle, on your typical buffet thing, is a platter full of what appears to be chicken wings that are it's like a joke. It's like, we're going to plant this food and see how they react.
I got 3 of them. And, those things, you don't want to get a lot because, you don't want to look like that person
behind you.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, I think 3 is being pretty selfish, but I'm pretty hungry. And sure enough, plantains. It was, but like, you are harping more on the serving of them.
Choice of hey boss, what do you want to do with the plantains? Oh, give them to the media.
I'm harping more on the confusion. You know what I mean? And the moment of taking a bite, the way you do out of it. Because I think about it, I ate a plantain the way you take a bite out of a chicken wing in the middle, and so it just like fell apart, and I was very confused.
It's free food. I'm not going to complain anymore. That's for the airing of grievances at 9:15. I'll be a little bit early today because at 9:30, former head coach of the Baltimore Ravens and current NFL pundit Brian Billick going to come by. Always a pleasure to catch up with him. I'm sure his insights.
The biggest way I change is just kind of.
And Pat Mahomes are going to be pretty interesting.
You think Pat would have thought that those are chicken wings?
I can lay this. I can tell you this. There wasn't a plantain on the Kansas City Chiefs plates last night. I bet they didn't get a plate full of plantains and nachos. That was the strangest decision for food I have ever seen.
It was a strange sequence. I mean, it felt like a dream, in not a good way. It felt like, but again, not upset about free food.
And the other great thing about the big game here is you get your opportunity to get all the Starry you can drink.
The Starry?
Yeah, that's what I said last year. That's a drink. Starry. And I only see it at the Super Bowl. It's a Sprite product, I believe.
Oh, well, these are Pepsi products.
Yeah, I'm a Pepsi product, and it's their Sprite. It's a Starry. I don't see them for sale anywhere.
Ooh.
But you can get them here.
Great point from Pledge in the Brigade Bar. It says they also announced Brazil as the host on the day we got the plantains. Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe it was an homage to the Brazilians. We could celebrate Carnival better than that. About something a little bit more symbolic of that than a fried banana.
It was weird. I love bananas. Plantains are maybe the worst ways you can handle bananas.
I will be consistently confounded. Andrew Zimmer, my Patronus and Food Network
and mentor,
will be with us on Thursday. I'm going to ask him, like, dude, did you know that have you ever seen that? Have you ever catered a meal where you serve nachos and plantains at the same time? Have you ever done that here? Yesterday was the tour and the food for the Super Bowl food thing with all the food chefs.
We missed out.
Yeah, we need to read our emails better.
Yeah,
because the pictures of those few that did actually take the time to go get on the bus and go see it, that was spectacular. Hey, coming back, we got a full hour of fun headed your direction. The Spurs are headed east. The Cowboys are headed south, and the Super Bowl is coming north. We're going to talk that, but first I want to tell you about Connecticut. I miss it. Let me tell you, I'm sitting in Vegas getting in a shower, and I miss my Connecticut water softener shower. It ain't the same, baby. It is not. My hair's all dried out, and I can feel it on my skin. I can't imagine what those dishes look like. They don't have a Connecticut water softener here in Vegas. I miss it because it works. And what it does in my home is not only protect my skin and my hair, but long before it even reaches me, that water's gone through the pipes. And before it went through the pipes, it went through my Connecticut water softener, and it's taking care of all of us. That's why I got a Connecticut. One, it makes me feel good about what I'm doing for my home. And two, it makes me look good. I feel better. My hair's all taken care of. And at the end of the day, you're looking for something to protect the most important investment you've got, and that's your home. You don't want to have a plumber coming out here all the time. You don't want to have to continue to buy new appliances because the water keeps clogging up all the hoses. That's why you go get the very best Connecticut. And right now, the Connecticut's got a deal for you. You want one in your home and you want to find out if what I'm telling you is true? How about 90 days, no contract, no money? If you'll dial 656-PURE today, they'll come out, put one in your home, and you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll be just like your neighbors. 3 months from now, you're going to be a Connecticut customer for life because they say it. I believe it is the last water softener you're ever going to own. Call Connecticut today at 656-PURE. Go to ConnecticutSA.com for all the details. Put one of those pretty water softeners in your home, and I know you're going to thank me later.
If you miss the Blitz with Jason and Joe, then you miss this.
What was Pop's thinking at the beginning of the year with Jeremy Sohan? What was he trying to do there? Or what did he think he could do with Sohan?
Well, the idea was to have a big lineup, but it's hard to make a playmaker into a point guard. I remember Hank Egan. I'll never forget what he said. He said, "Only God makes point guard," and he's right. I mean, it's just really difficult. Got it. That way of thinking into somebody who doesn't quite have that.
Right home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Okay, if you love playing fantasy sports like I do, take it to the next level with Prize Picks. It's the #1 daily fantasy sports app. This is Rob Thompson, and right now, with the big game around the corner, NBA in full swing, there's no better way to get into the action than with Prize Picks. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections on a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's that easy. You can turn $10 into $250 just like that in 2 taps. I love the easy gameplay, the quick withdrawals, and huge selection of players, the stat options, and more. And check this out. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy platform with injury perfection insurance. It'll keep you in the game even if one of your players isn't. It's great. Over 7 million sports fans have already signed up, and I'm one of them. So join me and watch your favorite players and get paid doing it right now. Just download the Prize Pick app and use the code Alamo. That's Alamo on Prize Picks for your first deposit. They'll match up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, our motto is simple. George gets justice. But what does that mean for you? It means you get an award-winning team of attorneys who will fight for everything taken from you so that you can get back to what matters in life. When we say George gets justice, it's just not a motto. It's a commitment to you. Call us at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice.
If you can't sleep because of a knee pain, that's a problem. If you stop running because your feet always hurt, that's a problem. If your elbow, shoulder, and neck pain make it impossible for you to do your job, that is a problem, and it's time to finally do something about it. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. No medications, no injections. Arasti treatment is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, we accept most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Show your love this Valentine's with exquisite fashion jewelry from Diamonds Direct and save an extra 20%. Now through Valentine's, all fashion favorites at Diamonds Direct are on sale. All earrings, all bracelets, all necklaces, stackable bands, colored gemstone jewelry, and more. Lots of romantic and timeless gifts for under $500. Special financing available too. Don't miss this. An extra 20% savings on all fashion jewelry favorites at Diamonds Direct. Shop in store or online at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
This is Jim Rome. Have a take, don't suck on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NFL, Dallas Cowboys owner and general manager is going to be busy today. He started the day early interviewing for the defensive coordinator job recently vacated by Dan Quinn. Mike Zimmer and Ron Rivera lead the outsiders list in the NBA. The San Antonio Spurs take 10 wins on the road. Miami tomorrow night. The road trip begins. We call it the rodeo road trip. San Antonio Sports Star continues next right here on 94.1.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Wembanyama three, good! Goes behind the back here. Oh, little sidestep and a jam by Wembanyama.
Oh, it's knocked away by Wembanyama. This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. With Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
It is the Morning Huddle. Gather up around us. We got something to talk about. He is RJ Ochoa, as he was told. As you were told, the Blogging the Boys managing editor. I'm Rob Thompson, the professor-in-chief, so I've been told. We're glad you're with us this morning. Day 2 of your Radio Row coverage continues, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds, our good friends at Southern Recipe, Small Batch Pork Rinds, and Synergenics. We are here on day 2 because of the effort put in by all of those behind the scenes. I want to thank Edwin and James Pledger and Private Ryan down back at the mothership, getting all the socials and videos and all the things that we are pouring upon them. So as we sit now, the row's starting to pop a little bit, and the stories are starting to take shape for this week. We look at the quarterback situation yesterday in the opening ceremonies, the Monday opening night. Pat Mahomes said when he was asked about Brady and the GOAT status, he looked at Brady as something distant, something so far away that he's still in the midst of his career. And I think there was no better answer than that. That one had been shopped and refined. Perfect answer from Mahomes yesterday.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to obviously handle those questions, and nobody's ever really been asked them, right? I mean, nobody's ever really had a reason, especially since Brady's been retired. And this is the first season, but they're fair. I don't want to call this that yet, but we have we finally have our NFL version of LeBron Jordan.
We're feeling that way,
right?
And I think that if the win does occur, that is truly it, because the timing aspect, both of them, one winding down as the other one played, it feels very familiar as far as passing of the torch. And I think we're too close into it, but I appreciate the way that Mahomes held on to it, and the way that he is, he's chasing this legacy to, ascend to the levels that were expected, but but it's being overshadowed by a singer and his tight ends relationship. It was so interesting last night to see the dynamic inside the building. And granted, Monday night's more about the casual sports fan, the entertainment fan that also pays attention to football. But the way that the media has flocked to Travis Kelce, and there was still certainly a crowd for Mahomes, but it wasn't 2-1, but it was Kelce had at least 40% more than Mahomes in prep, and those guys never left. And then once Kelce did leave, that the fandom left the building. They didn't even hang around for the 49ers.
It's strange to consider that. I mean, I think everyone everywhere would agree that Mahomes is on the closest trajectory we've ever seen towards matching or surpassing Tom Brady. He's got the best chance of anyone we've ever seen, obviously, and that he's seeking and chasing his 3rd Super Bowl, obviously, as is Travis Kelce, to be very fair. And that he's not the most visited and maximized and discussed. And I think that when it's all said and done, when in a quarter century, when some 5-year-old right now is chasing Mahomes' records, we're going to look back and we're going to say, the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift thing. I mean, I know they've been married for 23 years, but that really provided some cover for Mahomes. You know what I mean?
It has.
In not that he needs it or underperforms when the spotlight's on him, but it's never a bad thing to fly a little bit low under the radar in moments like this, and it's incredible that that's what's happening here.
And watching that the Taylor Swift thing, and it's funny how you watch the tide roll in and the tide roll out. initially the Taylor Swift thing was kind of funny, and it was a joke to most of the NFL types. Like, hey, this is kind of funny. We've kind of seen this before. But as it grew and it would, it to the factor of X on a daily basis, it's interesting how both sides of this entertainment monolith have kind of decided we're going to go with this. And inside of it, as you said earlier, was just like a football player dating a girl. I mean, that's really all it is.
Like, imagine Roger Goodell being asked about literally any player's girlfriend.
And have you ever heard a commissioner, especially given this situation at a championship at the be-all, end-all, it'd be appropriate if, like at the FIFA, the end of the World Cup, they asked the commissioner of FIFA about one of the players and who he was dating, but right as 100 million people are tuned in to watch the game itself. Goodell yesterday at the State of the NFL annual event, that is really one of the first things that kick off the week. One of the first questions was about a singer and a tight end. And it was at that moment you go, this is so much bigger than I even imagined where it could be. And the ramifications of such, as we see our 9:30 guests walk in. Mr. Billick is in the building. I don't think that the NFL thought it was going to get to where it has gotten. And I will give them some credit. I think it's been rather skillfully done.
Well, there's a lot
definitely. There's been.
I mean, Taylor Swift is a corporation in and of herself. And so she has a lot of smart people who work for her.
Right.
And so it does feel like there was a meeting of the minds.
Do you think they taught the NFL a thing or two about how to handle the different media worlds that are now all coming together? Because this was really the first of the digital romances.
I'm going to ask a question. And I feel like the classic radio bros out here, but I'm going to ask the question because I'm just going to do it.
We are classic radio bros.
I know, but I mean, I feel like that. Is Taylor Swift bigger than the NFL?
That's been the question for a while, and I think that there's some anger because the possibility of it being yes angers a lot of people.
Anger me. I don't think it should anger anyone, but I think the answer is yes. So I think that's why the NFL is so willing to humble itself and say
humbled is an interesting word to use.
Yeah, say we can learn from you,
because the way that she has kept that, there's never been a tarnished Taylor Swift shield. It's the impeccable thing to add the NFL to, because Goodell has so many issues on the other side of that. There are so many things that Taylor Swift, as you said, can overshadow the Mahomes chase to goatness.
Right.
It also overshadows the gambling, the concussions.
The Mahomes chase to goatness, the gambling, the concussions, the rematch of this game. The Niners as a story in and of themselves. Andy Reid's chase to goatness. Travis Kelce, forget the Taylor of it all. Travis Kelce has an argument to be the greatest tight end of all time. I mean, if they win this game. And I mean,
overshadowed by the bracelet that he made 5 months ago.
It's just a wild sequence that this all has been. Alexandra says in the Brigade Bar, it seems like the 49ers are being dissed this Super Bowl. Just my humble observation.
Listen to this. You're right, and you're not in there. If you were to rank the level of importance of the storylines that are going, at what point do you get to any 49er? I'm not just talking about the 49ers in the game. It's the Chiefs, it's Mahomes, it's Reed, it's
Vegas.
Yeah. And after the venue, then we start talking about the 49ers. Though the ironic part of this is there's more 49er fans here than Kansas City Chiefs fans.
Yeah. It does seem, if you believe in the script, like the script is written for the Niners to fall hard and the Chiefs to survive on top. But I think that would upset a lot of people in the immediate area, because you're right. I would say it's like 80-20 Niners right now.
And it's still early. You got to fly in from Kansas City, and Cali's not that far away to drive. But we're talking about Northern California. I mean, they're coming in from a Bay Area. There's not a lot of 49er fans in Southern California. They're not on this side here. So more 49er fans nationally, internationally, and combined with Swifties, they're outnumbered 3-1.
Yeah. This is an interesting time.
I wonder how you continue this, because Kelce, I think at least at some point during the season probably thought about retiring when he saw his brother leave, and if he can,
if he's going to leave,
yeah, and if he can do and does do what he could do and really become one of those iconic tight ends, it might be the time to walk away for him as well. Because they are.
But how do you? I remember when people were saying after they beat the Niners in the first one, oh, Andy's going to walk away. He finally got one. Imagine if he had. Imagine how much Andy Reid would be kicking himself if, he'd be thinking, I have a chance for a third, or if I had stuck around. Why would you I'm not saying you're advocating for that, but like when you're a part of that, you have a chance to be all time. I mean, and they do. I mean, I think, the only Seminole players who have been a part of, or assuming they win, who would have been a part of all 3 titles would be Mahomes, Kelsey, and Chris Jones.
We're going to have Brian Billick on. He's a defensive guy, right?
That's correct.
And that's
no, sorry. He's an offensive guy.
But
they're obviously, the Ravens.
Yeah, so. The Ravens, you think defense. But the unsung story of this, while we look at the quarterbacks and the offenses from Shanahan and Mahomes, the defense could play a bigger role in this as we look at the up and down numbers.
I mean, back to the Mahomes GOAT thing. It's all representative of how luck is involved in so many things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people act like Brady threw for 400 yards in all 7 Super Bowls he won. The first 3 teams he was on were so defensive heavy, and then he became, this vaunted passer. And obviously Mahomes has won different ways, but I mean, so early in his career. But now Mahomes gets the public cover, because of the Taylor Swift stuff, and he has a defense who can help him out and can carry him, obviously, in some tough and rough moments. I mean, and I applaud the Chiefs for that as an organization. They have said, we don't have to put everything on the best player in the world. We can do the work ourselves, and we can ride this out as long as possible as one collective group, and we'll all be happy as a result of it.
And they have been exceedingly happy. Oh, we have not brought up the fact that last night we got to see the ownership of the Kansas City Chiefs primarily. What's her name?
Well, the Hunt family.
The young Ms. Hunt, yes.
So this was strange. I'm not a WWE fan, although and this isn't WWE, but we're
locked in.
We're supposed to talk to Tony Khan later on this week from AEW. But when the Hunt family walked in, it was wrestling. Because they were like walking arm in arm. It was really again, like straight out of like a Raw episode or something.
Or like they were royalty the way they were brought.
It was really weird. Well, they are NFL royalty.
Speaking of prayers to the king.
That's right.
King Charles, we're thinking of you. We're all men of an age. Take care of your business and get well soon. Not ready for another coronation. He just got there. He's waited a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
if you don't know what we're talking about, King Charles diagnosed with prostate cancer over the last couple of days. So the king was not amused, but kind of interesting on that side. As you have been watching The Crown, I understand.
I haven't started it yet, but I downloaded episodes in preparation of the flights, and then I napped instead of
for the long ride home. Our long ride home is days away. Coming back, the NBA kicks into gear, and the Spurs suck, and we all hate them. But we will hate them from afar as they're jumping on a plane and heading to Miami. We'll look at the potential for a turnaround, and will it begin on the road? Spurs talk and NBA gumbo coming next, because you are on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1. This is Rob and RJ. We'll be right back.
The Sports Star Boys are in Vegas for the big game.
Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Rob and RJ and Jason and Joe are in Sin City and Radio Row for the big game, with security provided by AA Best Bail Bonds.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll all get drunk and Woo!
I think you gonna get away with it. Not up in here.
Not up in here.
Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Synergen X, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Asante came to TurboTax after graduating from culinary school and landing a job in the hottest kitchen in town.
My hands are full all day, every day. I love it.
Asante, as your TurboTax expert, I'll make your moves count, guaranteeing 100% accurate filing and your maximum refund. Sound good?
Yes, expert.
Switch to Intuit TurboTax and make your moves count. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open. With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Rue Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Sick and tired of achy joints? Dread the idea of surgery? You need to call QC Kinetics today. Hey, it's James Spudger with San Antonio Sports Star. Listen, the state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative and non-surgical drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, pain from arthritis or injury. Don't let this pain keep you from living your best life. QC Kinetics advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence, walk, run, play, and live without the danger and trauma of surgery and without harmful drugs. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
Super Bowl 58 in Vegas is set. It's the Chiefs and Niners. Hear it right here on your exclusive home for the Super Bowl. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
This is San Antonio Sports Star. Remember, all of our NFL playoff coverage is brought to you by Flight by Yingling, a fine beer to drink as you are sitting down to watch some good football coming up this Sunday for the big game. Our coverage here brought to you by AA Best Belmont Southern Recipe Small Bags, Pork Rinds, and Synergenics continues. Brian Billick, former head coach in the NFL, spent some time in Baltimore and Minnesota, and will spend some time with us in just a couple of minutes. I want to focus on the defenses with him as an offensive mind. How did a guy like Fazio, a retread, as we've been told, turn this defense into a killer? Unrecognized. Well,
Fangio.
What did I say? Fazio?
Yeah.
Fangio. Sorry. The Kansas City Chiefs defense.
Oh, Spagnuolo. Fangio is the Eagles' defensive coordinator.
Dude, my brain is fried as we get to
it's only 7-19 locally.
That's it.
Yeah.
That means the sun's almost up.
It might be up. I don't know what the
I
nearest
might turn
window.
to ashes.
We're like 5,000 yards from the nearest window. That's not an exaggeration.
And we've been here long enough to where we don't even notice that we don't get to see the sun. We're just subterranean. We live in tunnels. Billick around the corner. The Spurs get ready to head out. We saw that Embiid got good news, and the Sixers got some good news yesterday. Or this morning. It's only going to be they're looking at 4 weeks having the meniscus tear surgically repaired. So if they can tread water and just get to the dance, they might have a chance to go there. And it looked, from what we were hearing up until late afternoon yesterday, that Embiid was gone for the season. So good news there as the Spurs head out. No real injuries other than to their ego as they continue to give away wins. They give games that they have played well enough to, I hate the term deserve to win, but they put themselves in a position to win more often than not over the last couple of weeks with really no real change in the outcome. The losses still continue to roll. We have seen the team turn itself around on the road. We have seen the team play better after a couple of practices. But I think what we have seen over the last couple of months is a couple of days, is we're starting to realize that these last 5 months, since October, this has been for naught. There has been zero improvement, zero adjustments. We stumbled out of the gate with a point guard experiment that failed, so we blew that for the first 3 months. And then we spent the next couple of weeks adjusting to what life should have been like when the season began. And as that happened, each one of our young players has suffered. Every one of them has suffered, not because of what they have done, but suffered because of the situation that their team has put them in, whether they've been put in the wrong position, whether they've been put in situations to play minutes or positions that they're not accustomed to, or rotation has changed. Think about where we are. Keldon is now coming off the bench. That's not how we started. Jeremy was the point guard. Now he's Mr. Everything. Just give him a fake title, let him go play some basketball. This is the growth. It's not growth, it's change. And that just change for change's sake is one thing. Growth is another, and we screwed both of them up.
Yeah, we cut our nose off and spited our face, and just like now we're faceless. We're like the army in Game of Thrones that took an Arya. You know what I'm saying? And it's a tough place to be. There's nothing redeeming happening with the Spurs right now.
They've got a 9.5 bump tomorrow night as they head into Miami. I will say this: if you are gambling tights, that would be the way I would look. Hey, we got a lot of guests coming your direction, so we're going to tidy this place up. Brian Billick's around the bend, and lots of interviews as our coverage on Media Row will continue all day long. The Blitz is just around the corner as Left Shoe and Big Fudge show up to get to all the interviews that you so justly desired. Looking very closely at the Cowboys, and I'm sure there will be news soon coming out from the early interviews. You know, Jerry is apt to get that in there. Wonder when they're going to arrive. When will Jerry and the Air Force Ones, are they going to avoid this?
I bet they roll in for NFL honors.
You think so? That'll be Thursday night?
Yeah.
As Dak Prescott has to be the
he has to hand off
MC as he turns
Walter
it over.
Payton Man of the Year award, and
And Micah Parsons will make his arrival, you assume. Do you think he's still ashamed to be seen in public?
I think he's ashamed to be anywhere at any time right now. It's going to be a long offseason for all members of the Dallas Cowboys from a shame perspective.
How much would you allow or even ask for input from Micah on your DC hire? Would that have – it's not quite basketball, but do you think it has a role in what Jerry is doing? Does Micah get a right of first refusal on the head coach hire or the DC hire? Or should he?
I mean, he's the best player on your defense, so he should obviously have a huge – even if he doesn't have a huge influence, he should be a factor, right? If you're Mike Zimmer and I'm Jerry Jones, my question is, how do you plan on using Micah Parsons, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, he should be a consideration at the very least in that sense. But, I mean, I'm not a fan of this, process, so I really don't care personally. I'm detached.
Did you get the sense that Micah was a little upset or concerned about the way he was used by Dan?
Well, I got that sense from his brother. I mean, his brother seemed upset. I mean, and Micah was obviously very complimentary of Dan when he was asked about it at the Pro Bowl games. But, I mean, there's a lot of chaos everywhere with them right now. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's in a good mood. Nobody's happy. Nobody's satisfied. Nobody is anything at any point anywhere. Everybody is mad all the time. And it's going to be that way until it's not. And so it's going to be stressful and tenuous and awkward and frustrating and difficult and clunky and anarchy and chaos. And nobody can do anything to fix that. No coach, no coordinator, no anything. It's just we're pissed off and we're going to be pissed off.
Jones family just got to go fly off, get on that Lady Eugenia and head out to the ocean as we sail toward Brian Billick, head coach emeritus of the NFL, going to be here just around the corner. And your grievances. You got a problem, you got to get it out. Let the good air in, the bad air out. The airing of grievances is coming. Brian Billick just around the corner. We're taking you on the ride that is Media Row in Las Vegas, brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds, Southern Recipe, Small Batch Pork Rinds, and Synergenics. Hey, we're talking to the NFL types coming up next. Hang around with us. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You know, if you are having to walk 15, 16, 17,000 steps a day, you can develop a little bit of pain. If you're dealing with daily pain that's keeping you out of life, I need you to think of Arasti. Arasti providers are all around San Antonio with one goal in mind, and that is to get you out and keep you out of pain. They can fix things that have lingered forever. So many people that I've run into said, man, my shoulder bothered me for years. I went to Arasti. A couple visits later, I'm doing things I haven't done in a long time. If that's you, if you've got something that's keeping you out of doing things you want to do, get it fixed. It's out there. Arasti, they accept most insurances. And here's the good news. You never need a referral. Just make your appointment. Write this number down. 1-800-404-6050. Listen, Arasti, when you walk in the door, this medical professional is going to give you a full examination. They're going to find out what the problem is. And then amazingly enough, they're going to fix the problem. And they're not going to use medication to hide or dull the pain. It's not about surgery to prolong it. It's about your body fixing itself. And for me, it has worked along with thousands and thousands of others. So if you're dealing with lower back injuries, maybe it's a strain or a pull, maybe you've got a frozen shoulder or hip, plantar fasciitis, I can tell you those tension headaches that start between your shoulder blades and punch you right in the nose, they can help with that as well. Don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. Call Arasti today. They'll get you fixed, and when they do, I want you to thank me later.
The Sports Star Boys are in Vegas for the big game.
Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Robin, RJ, and Jason and Joe are in Sin City and Radio Row for the big game, with security provided by AA Best Bail Bonds.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll all get drunk and
Woo! Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here.
Not up in here.
Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds, Synergenics, Southern Recipe, Small Batch Pork Rinds, and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
No amount of money can make up for a life-changing injury. I'm George Salinas, and at George Salinas Injury Lawyers, our team of attorneys will fight to get you the maximum compensation because we prepare and we care. So if you've been injured in an accident, get George. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
We are down to the big game in the football season, and you could still play along at Underdog Fantasy. Jason Minix here from the Blitz. I love playing the pick'em game at Underdog Fantasy, where you pick between 2 and 5 players and select whether they will go higher or lower their predicted stats. And if your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money in a single night. It is a fantasy game that is legal in Texas and certainly makes watching the games a lot more fun. Get in the game now. Go to their easy-to-use mobile app or go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with my promo code STAR and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100 and you're ready for the big game. Plus, they'll give you a special pickup higher than a half total yards to use on your first pick'em entry. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code STAR. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Folks, there's nothing romantic about home repairs, but when your plumbing has lost that love and feeling and your AC is about to achy break your heart, call Quarterman Plumbing, Heat, and AC at 210-651-5899. We'll fix the issue fast at a great price with a servant spirit.
Joel, this is a special Valentine gift from me to you.
Yeah, but why are your arms red?
I got a deal on this plant for your office.
That's poison ivy, Nigel.
It's what?
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number M16004. DACLA 000743458.
All right, guys, who's ready for the biggest game of the season this Sunday? Hey, it's James Pledger. Come pregame with me and San Antonio Sports Star and the lovely ladies at Twin Peaks out at the Twin Peaks Park North location starting at noon. Show up early. The first 100 fans get a free square, and every fan will walk away with a free fried pickles bounce back. This is going on at all 4 area Twin Peaks locations. So come join me this Sunday and register to win tickets to Machine Head while you're here. That's starting at noon at Twin Peaks Park North, 410 and Blanco Road.
Score big with LS Tractors at Dietz Tractor in Seguin, the MVPs of the field. LS Tractors, the star quarterbacks of farming, perfect for tough tasks for farm, ranch, and landscaping. Dietz Tractors has your all-star coaching staff for top-notch equipment. They're not just selling tractors, they're building lasting relationships with unmatched dealer support for parts and maintenance. It's a winning strategy that goes beyond the final whistle. Don't miss the game-winning move. 0% financing available with approved credit on LS Tractors. Start blue, stay blue at Dietz Tractor in Seguin.
Attention all homeowners, do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass? Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just call 800-NEW-WINDOWS for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Call 800-NEW-WINDOWS right now. Don't wait. Call 800-NEW-WINDOWS. 800-NEW-WINDOWS.
This is the Morning Huddle with Rob Thompson and RJ Ochoa.
Welcome, newcomers. The tradition begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Here are the grievances with Rob and RJ.
Grievances abound here at Media Row. Welcome back. He's RJ. He's angry. I'm Rob Thompson. My feet hurt. This is the Morning Huddle. Gather around. We got something to talk about. Brian Billick is imminent as he crosses the expanse of Media Row, and that's another one of our ongoing grievances with the NFL. And we can know that this is an RPP. We're complaining about places that, most people want to be, but my God. 22,000 steps in a day, 8 miles. And this is not like we're just touristing around. These are required steps. This wasn't extra. This didn't go shopping at the mall. This is going to the bathroom, which is a 100-yard walk.
This is the bare minimum.
This is a half-mile walk to go get a sandwich. This is 3 flights of stairs going down, back up, and we're having to go backwards to come back in just to get a cup of coffee. It has been a brutal 24 hours around Vegas. I knew there'd be some walking. I didn't know I was going to be walking 8 miles a day.
The best way, I think, to describe it, because it's difficult to paint the whole picture with just our words, is consider a clock. Where we're positioned is sort of like 12 on the clock. And the food court, or the area where we can get food and coffee, there's a Starbucks, because there's not often coffee available here. So if we want to even have to go get coffee, the coffee and food are positioned at 11. Okay, so you would think from just a stretch of space perspective, we could go from 12 to 11 and come back to 12. The problem is when you go from 12 to 11, you cross through a magic portal of what we were told was dirt, and the NFL considers you dirty. So you have to walk all the way in that respect counterclockwise. You have to go 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 just to come back to 12. They make you do that if you go get food. That's it. You can't just come back. It's ridiculous.
That is just the beginning of a long day. Now, tonight we have the media party, and that will be out at the, the finish line of the F1 race. Is that where?
Yeah, I believe so.
And I think in all of the planning, they didn't expect rain. And I think that kind of threw a monkey wrench into the plans.
Hey, Coach.
As we air our grievances, one has improved completely. I'd like to welcome on the show former head coach and currently active in the college game, Brian Billick, here with us here on San Antonio Sports. Good morning, Coach. Glad to have you aboard, man.
Yeah, it's great. Great to be here. Great to be anywhere at this point in my life.
Well, you're staying busy.
Less so than before, but in a way that I like. Really, I've become obsessed with golf. So
what's the handicap?
If you'll let me, my handicap is pretty much my 6-iron. If I have to hit that, that's as big a handicap as you have to I'm about a 13, but that's a cheat like everybody's handicap, right? It's probably really a 17.
I mean, that's much better than I'm kind of faring at this point in time. Coach, you got here. We do something at this hour every day.
Yeah.
We air grievances. And it could be anything in your life.
So let the bad air out to start your day.
It doesn't have to be show-related, although if you have one with us, I mean, we're open to it.
Keep it to yourself.
We can be coached hard.
But, like, is there something that's stuck in your craw that, you can add to our grievances?
Yeah, and I can say this, but because I'm from California. Okay, native, all right? I came here to Las Vegas, obviously, to visit with people and do that, but I mainly came to play golf. And there again, California screws us and brings all that rain, of all the time to have to bring all that rain in as one more thing California's done to shove it up our backside.
What is it? The Pacific Train? Or
the river, the Pineapple River or something, whatever. But, boy, you look at that. It's just L.A. to Las Vegas, and it's knocked out 2 days of my golfing. So.
Are you checking out the Live event this weekend?
I'm not. I'm going to get out of town before it gets real crazy here, but I am going to get on the course one more time.
Smart move, I think. Is there an art form to coaching an all-star game?
There's certainly an experience that you have to understand. When we went to the Super Bowl, I had a number of coaches, Bill Walsh, Dan Reeves, former coaches of mine, that reached out, which I really appreciated, to kind of say, look, here's what you need to think about, because it is a totally different environment. It was great. Dan Reeves said he spent like 45 minutes with me telling me he did this, did that. And he says, you know what, but I haven't won one of these yet, so just do the opposite of what I just told you to do.
Right.
But it really is. It's more experience about the pacing of the week. Obviously, you do just what you do. And that's the main thing you got to get the players. Guys, we know how to do this, right? Practice is the same. The field's the same. The game, once you kick off, but it's everything in between. How do you handle that? And you spend as much time with that on your players as anything.
The Ravens obviously thought that they were going to be in that moment. Maybe John Harbaugh would have hit you up. Obviously, John Harbaugh's done this before, and it felt that way. I think we all burned ourselves potentially. I know I did picking Baltimore. It's really difficult when you feel like it's your year and you feel like in this instance, you've got Kansas City on the ropes and another MVP season for Lamar. And you kind of feel like if it can't go right now, what do the circumstances have to be for it to go right?
And that's the lingering. I mean, yeah, it was a great game, and you give Kansas City credit, and Baltimore was all the things you just said. But it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Going forward, that's the difficulty now as a coach, both as an organization with your team, because you're right. This was prime. This was their time to go again. And it didn't happen, as happens in football. And, in terms of what do we have to do? Are we really that good? You question what you're doing. And that's something that's very real that you have to address.
Looking at in the broader scope of things, we're coming to you from San Antonio, Texas, and obviously Dallas Cowboy land. And we're talking about broad principles and looking at a franchise that's kind of at a pivot point. And when you see a franchise or been a part of that, and you see how you have to change a lot of different things, what's the first thing when you look at a franchise that needs to get moving in a different direction? What's the linchpin move that starts this process?
That's the hard part, because the knee-jerk reaction is you throw the baby out with the bathwater. Right. We got to do everything. Well, no, sometimes it's very subtle.
Right.
And you have to begin with the idea that, look, I'm always and we're talking about it right now with Kansas City. Oh, how hard it is to go back and repeat. It's hard just to win one.
Right.
The things that have to align for you to go to and win a Super Bowl, a lot of it is fate. Obviously, you don't just dismiss it to that, because there's a lot of things you got to do to set yourself up, that you create your own luck, so to speak. But it's a hard process. So Dallas has to look at, they were a good team, just like we talked about with Baltimore. They did a lot of good things, but you got to go back and be very critical about and analyze, okay, is there a little something we need to do? If we got to do a lot of things, then you're talking about a total rebuild. That's a wholly different project. Mm-hmm. But what kept us? What were the strategic things that kept us from getting to the next game? Sometimes it's just they were a better team, or they were a better team that day. Kansas City and Baltimore, I think Baltimore's a better team. If you want to try to quantify it, but not on that day. That's the great thing about this game, that 60 minutes is just long enough, not for the best team to win, but the team that played best. And that's the great thing about the game. But you're right. It for the Cowboys, again, and Jerry's one to, he's going to do it all, and we're going to do. I applaud that he kept Mike McCarthy. They'll make some subtle changes along the way because they were close. and see if, okay, we've got the elements. We got to add a few things here and there that happened during the season, but they're not that far off compared to you look at a lot of other teams that, boy, there's a lot more to do.
Brian Billick joining us here on the Morning Huddle. And I think, Coach, sometimes fans think, okay, we'll just add this and we get to pick back up where we left off. And you look at the Cowboys or the Ravens and you have these amazing, Lamar's going to win MVP this week, and it means nothing. And so how hard is it to kind of humble yourself and say, look, we did all these great things. We have all these, things on the wall and we'll all remember them forever, but we did not get that thing that's on your finger right now. I mean, you do have to, not throw the baby out, but you do have to throw the bathwater out.
You do. And more importantly, you have to give them something to hang their hat on to say, so this is how we're going to make it different. And beginning with, even with whoever wins this game, the biggest challenge day one, whether it's OTAs or when they get to training camp, is, guys, we are a great team. We've got the pedigree, but we got to start over.
Mm-hmm.
And that those things, the relationship, the way we work, it's like being married, right? It's not just, well, she knows I love her, I'm good. No, it's you, baby. You better do it every single day. Those little things to keep that connection, build those relationships. Don't just assume. Let's just get through the regular season because now it's all about the postseason. That's the challenge for someone like Lamar now.
Right.
Is that it doesn't matter next season what you do during the season. That really doesn't matter what happens in the playoffs until you get into this game and win it. You're going to hear that criticism, so you can't rush past the other things thinking, okay, I'm ready to go once we get to that. No, you got to take care of it from day one.
And as a coach, to keep them grounded in what's happening now versus what's going to go on in December has to be not only part of the daily plan, but annually you have to look at what the schedule looks like to get them going.
It's a new
responsibility to coach.
And that's the great challenge of the NFL. It's a new paradigm. It's a new project design. I don't care how many people you have coming back, you're starting anew. I was joking a couple of years ago when I saw Ozzie Newsome in the airport after their last Super Bowl in 2012. We happened to see each other. Hey, Ozzie, congratulations. The combine starts in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a quick turnaround, baby, because now, we're going to be talking the combine here now, 2 weeks?
Brian Billick with us here on the Morning Huddle. And, Coach, it's my presumption that all of you wear your Super Bowl rings this week because it's a cool entry to this club. And it's like this big bat signal walking around like, I've done it. I've climbed the mountain. I've gone through everything starting with the combine. On the subject of signals, you're here on behalf of Signal Relief.
Yeah. It's an amazing product. Came to me about 6 months ago. And like everything, I get a lot of things brought to me and I'm going, okay, well, this is kind of cool. This is an amazing product. It really is. It's not a tense patch. It's not icy hot.
That's what I thought it was.
There's no nothing you take, no drugs, nothing plug in. This basically works. It's a military grade, military developed. It works with electrical signals in your body. And that's all pain is, right? From the pain we say put it between the brain and the pain.
Totally.
You put this thing, and that's the thing I love about it. You put it where you need it. And it blocks that pain signal that allows you to do the things. Motion is medicine.
Right.
Okay. That's the key. You got to players. I dealt with players for my entire professional life. You go into a training room, hundreds of thousands of dollars of stem machines, ice machines. Why? To help them deal with that prohibitive pain so they can get back on the field because it's that action with your joints and the muscle. That's where the recovery comes from to be able to do that. Now at my age, 18 holes of golf, I put this thing on my lower back. Right,
36.
When I get out of the pool, believe me. Wait till you get to my age, stuff's falling off and thing. It's amazing. I get out of the pool, it's on my shoulder, it's my upper back. It mitigates that pain that allows you then to continue to work the joint and the muscle. It's an amazing product. It's reusable for a year, so it's very cost effective. You put it where you need it. It's 100% money back guaranteed if you don't like it, but I promise you, it's going to work for you.
Signalrelief.com promo code COACH for 20% because you're generous.
Yeah, I know. When was the last time someone gave you 20% off?
I'll tell you what, no kidding. And you got to stay young around college kids. Before we let you go, as we've seen the melding of the college game and the pro game, tell us about the difference of how close are the college kids to being pro athletes now as opposed to way back when?
Well, obviously because of the way things have progressed, they're certainly more pro ready when it comes to. Although there are enough differences in the game. Obviously, I did consulting at Arizona State. Loved being around those young players. It's a different mentality now with the NIL and the portal, which right now I'm not a big. To me, college football is a cesspool right now. I hate the way where college football is right now. They've got to get this under control.
Sure.
They keep talking about doing the Super League and great.
Right.
do it, get it done.
Yeah, start it now. So
Let's go.
We can get used to it, right?
Because it's right now it's ruining the game. But you're right. The players are more pro ready.
Has the league come to college, or has the college come to the league?
There's a melding of it to a degree. I think it's not as much as a lot of people perceive. I don't think when I'm into the numbers and I've been in my entire career. When you look at the numbers, the situations you're in, the number of times you're in situational offense and defense, and the way the game flows, game really hasn't changed a lot. Yes, it's a little more open. A little bit can be a little more down the field. There's a little bit more involved within that regard. Defenses have gotten a little smaller because offenses have got a little bit more spread, but not to the degree that in the college game where, it's the other thing in the college game that bugs me is I coach at the Hula Bowl.
Right.
Mike Smith and I do. And we get these kids, they've never been in a huddle in their life. They've never taken a snap from a running back's never taken a handoff from a quarterback from under center. You spend the whole week going, this is how you huddle.
That is crazy.
It is amazing. It is amazing. So, but it's fun. It's fun to do. But so that from that standpoint, they are more, and you certainly have more data to go on as a coach. And aware of more players. There's no more of the hiding. Oh, there's a guy at Buzzard's Breath, North Dakota High. That it's really everybody knows who everybody is.
Well, everybody knows him. He's Brian Billick, head coach in the NFL, college coach as well, coaching all-star games, working at Arizona State, and right here in our huddle.
You got
Thanks for stopping by, Coach. It's
all right,
always
guys,
a pleasure
thank
catching
you.
up.
Had a great time.
Brian Billick right here on San Antonio Sports Star. He arrived as we were airing our grievances, and we got plenty more to offer. First of all, go to signalrelief.com. That thing that sounds really awesome for guys who've been taking all these steps. Air your grievances. You can reach out in a variety of ways. 656-3776. You can type it. You can talk it, but however it might be, as R&R, as we move on. Thanks, man. We appreciate you, Coach, as always. This is going to be applied as we speak. Signalrelief.com. Coaches, when we talk to a coach I love hearing guys that are stay in the game and staying with the youth part of this, and working at Arizona State and getting to coach the Hula Bowl and all that not only prolongs and promotes his golf game, but the connection to the college kids. And the NIL plays a role in what professionalism is. But I was always curious, is the player's skill set on the same level as their pro football mentality is when they're coming into the league? Are they indeed better?
Yeah, I mean, it's a new world. And I think that the advent of opportunity and you're getting into this.
I'm putting it on right now.
I mean, I thought about telling him, we're getting up early, man. I got aches all over the place. He also offered marital advice. There was a lot packed in there. But yeah, I mean, I think the thing that's most probably prominent that doesn't get felt because things like NIL and the portal are so big, but is what he said about how everybody knows everybody. Mm-hmm. Like before, if you could outwork someone or you were willing to outwork someone and you could go here, there, wherever to the middle of, wherever you want to call it, you had an inherent advantage. But now, you think about the way recruiting and even an analysis of recruiting has changed. Everyone it is so easy to get on the map is my point.
Yeah. We act like the best example to me is Cooper Kupp. A lot of people had not seen Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp was a first-round draft pick. I mean, people knew who he was. You didn't know who he was, but everybody else knew who he was in the little school he was coming out of there in Washington.
That's the thing. Even if you are in a small school and you don't go he didn't go in the first round, but you have, and even if you for some reason slip through, you get an invite to just one of whether it's the Hula Bowl or the Senior Bowl or the Shrine Bowl. There's so many all-star opportunities and so many scouts and so many scouting departments. And so, it's also so quick. You don't have to, it's obviously helpful, but I think your coach left his coffee, by the way. You don't have to go work out somebody. It's so much information and accessibility. Right. You can immediately have all 22 cut-ups sent, to you of whoever, wherever, from wherever. I mean, it's a different world.
Does can we go buy our swag today? Can we go buy our gear today? Is that open or is that tomorrow?
I don't know when it opens. So we have a very busy day.
We don't
day. Stop working.
So the expectation is as we wind down our day, we know it's nearly 10 o'clock back home. It's just now about 8 o'clock here. We have a schedule for tomorrow. What's going to be on our docket? We're going to talk with a variety of players. I know Robbie Gold. I see him. He's on his way.
So we've got Robbie Gold. We're slated to have Andrew Perloff.
Andrew Perloff, CBS Sports great guy.
We're slated to have Kaylin Kaler of The Athletic.
And we're going to talk. Wait till when she does get here tomorrow. We're going to talk with her about the gambling issues inside the NFL. I want you to contemplate this. We know, and they tell us about players that are fined, suspended, and all of that. We do not know, nor do they tell us about coaches and administrative staff that have also been fined or fired behind the scenes with gambling issues. That's as big a problem as anything. She wrote an article on that. Very great football mind. We're going to have her on tomorrow as well.
We're also going to have on, Coach mentioned Mike Smith.
The
He'll
former
be
head
here.
coach also will join us as he and Coach Billick make the rounds.
And on the subject,
does Smith have a ring? He doesn't have a ring.
No, not as a head coach. But on the subject of head coaches, we're also going to have another Mike McCarthy.
Not that Mike.
Not that Mike. This Mike works for Front Office Sports and has broken some of the biggest stories you see in the world of sports, which are important because I thought about this the other day. We're in a day and age where there are sports media reporters. Like they report on the sports media.
Andrew Marchand. Marchand, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, but
I didn't get that right, or
he's one of the goats. But I mean, yeah, he's not going to write about you. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of opportunity out there, and it's interesting.
Any grievances to air as our day just begins?
My grievance is with time. I mean, I just don't have a comprehension of where we're at in time. I don't think I've really eaten a meal since we've been here.
Not a good one.
I mean, well, the best meal I had was the pizza and stromboli we had on Sunday, but it wasn't a meal. Like I haven't had like a base and two sides. I haven't been able to sit down with a knife and fork. You know what I mean? Like we're in this weird, I thought Coach was going to go somewhere on the subject of time when he was talking about, I'm from California, this Pacific time zone. It is so awkward doing this from 4 to 8 because we're tired, but we're not tired, but we have to work because everybody's working, but we have to squeeze in food, but we don't have to squeeze in food. And it's a very, very weird juxtaposition that I'm trying to battle internally and externally.
I assume it's still raining.
Probably. I mean, it's...
the league, I think, planned for a lot of things. They didn't plan for rain.
How can you?
Well, I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar entity, and I
control the weather.
I think this thing's supposed to be outdoors tonight. Aren't we going to a racetrack?
I really don't know. I didn't read the email, as evidenced by the fact that we didn't know about the food tasting thing yesterday. But I saw our buddy Will Gavin. He went yesterday. He was right here hanging out with Coach Billick. I mean, are you really going to throw that patch on?
Yes, I'm going to put it on as soon as I get it. I got to read the instructions. He said put it between the pain and the brain, right?
Yeah.
So that would involve maybe removing an item of clothing that I don't want to do right now. But I'm honestly going to try it. Signal.com.
I find it offensive that only you got one.
Well, there's a couple of them in here.
Okay.
But I think they realize I'm the old guy. He probably needs it more than you.
Wow.
But there is
just going to put them all over your face.
Have you used that tension tape, that KT tape?
No.
It actually does kind of work. I'm not one of those guys that are sold too easy on these kind of things, but I'm back in. The older I get, I'm the guy that orders the stuff off on TV. Wow. I have the little foot mover as I sit there.
Yeah, like a QVC shopper?
Yeah, oh man. If it looks like it'll get me out of pain in some way, if it has copper in it, I have it on right now.
Interesting.
That's just how we roll. And we'll be rolling out of here post-haste, but you're not going to be alone for long. Greeny is somewhere in Vegas, I believe. They're coming around the bend. And Left Shoe and Big Fudge are going to be here at 2 o'clock, chock full of goodness and guests.
You're someday going to confuse them. You're going to call them Left Fudge and Big Shoe.
Which would probably be a better nickname.
Oh, that's what they are after dark.
We had so far, we've had one a 10-day doctor. We had one of our members have to go to see a doctor.
That's correct. Well, I think that's happening now.
So it might have already occurred. Yeah. But we're relatively in good shape so far.
Except for from a dietary standpoint, I need to put something solid. I'm thinking about Subway, not an ad, but you guys convinced me to try a hot dog yesterday, and it just wasn't great. So,
Well, we're going to take our 5-mile hike, go get something to eat, and make sure we provide to you restaurant quality radio. Hey, this is day 2 of our radio road coverage. We want to thank AA Best Bail Bonds, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, our good friends at Synergenics. We got a whole lot to do, and we're taking you with us. Make sure you have paid the light tax, put a thumb on it, and make sure you're subscribed to all the appropriate channels because that's how we roll. You want to stay rolling with us? Stay on the socials. Hey, the Blitz is just around the corner. Y'all be cool. We're in Vegas, baby.
The professional